Yo, what is good? Ladies and gentlemen, it is the Jets Media Podcast.
We're back, baby.
And we are coming off the bye week, but whoa, it feels like the New York Jets may have won during the bye week, even without playing. What a crazy week number 7 it was within the AFC East division, and of course, around the NFL. I'm joined by my co-host, as always, Jack.
Yo,
and we're going to break down everything regarding this past weekend for the New York Jets and how it really impacts the playoff race, how it impacts the division race, and it's time to talk about these New York Jets potentially winning, dare I say, going out there and competing for either the division or making the damn playoffs, baby. It's going to be a crazy show today, and I got a lot of energy. I got a lot of optimism heading into this show. We're going to get into the schedule, break down each opponent that the New York Jets have to go up against. We're going to give our midseason grades, kind of break down each player and the coaching staff, and Jack and I are going to break all of that down. And also, we are going to give you a special segment of the risers and the fallers heading into week number 8 for these New York Jets. And of course, we'll be taking your callers all throughout the show. So with that being said, man, let's start things off.
Let's get it, baby. What a freaking bye week it was for the New York Jets, man. I mean, a bye week is a blessing for a Jets fan anyway, typically, because we're typically suffering through a season. And like, all right, we get a nice stress-free week. At least we don't have to watch Jets football. This year, man, the Jets are 500 heading into the bye. The season has life. Look at the teams that we've already beaten. And then look at what happened within the division yesterday. Shout out to the freaking New England Patriots. I can't believe I'm even saying that. But shout out to the New England Patriots for somehow beating the sorry Buffalo Bills. And then the Eagles, baby. Fly, Eagles, fly, baby. I love it.
So, Jack, I just realized the 2 losses the Miami Dolphins have are against 2 teams the New York Jets happen to beat.
I love that. That's phenomenal.
That is interesting. The 2 losses the Miami Dolphins have suffered this season. Yeah, only 2 losses. Yeah, Richie, we're still 5-2. Shut up. We're still in first place. Who have you beat? The narrative is proven to be correct, ladies and gentlemen, for these Miami Dolphins. Now, I'm going to take it easy because we already have Dolphin State of Mind in the chat. Richie, I'm still sensitive from last night, so please use extra Vaseline and go super easy. Listen, man. I heard a lot of stuff about these Dolphins all week long. I heard TD continuously giving the Jets no respect. And now it's over, Miami Dolphins fans.
TD Finstock. Bum.
Now, in all seriousness, no, the Dolphins are still in first place. They are still 5-2. They did take advantage of the poor teams they did verse. But I think we can all agree, man, that does not matter. If you make the playoffs, you want to make a playoff run, you got to be able to play on the road. You got to be able to play against top-tier teams, and that's really what it comes down to. So, again, guys, we're going to break down the Dolphins-Eagles matchup, the Bills-Patriots matchup, and, of course, get deep into our beloved New York Jets. We got the first super chat of the pod. We got Boba Jet, as always, tuning in. What a great buy. Rich, show up on the roundtable with some Kleenex for TD. He was on the verge of tears last night. Let's get the W against the G-Men. You know I will.
Let's go, baby.
You know I will, man. The roundtable is going to be wild tonight. Master at Work is going to be hosting it. He's feeling a certain type of way because even though the Patriots won and he's rooting for them to lose, all the teams around that tanking for the first overall pick also happen to win. So interesting stuff for the roundtable tonight. But Boba Jet, I appreciate you as always. Now, I do want to get into the AFC East standings as it currently holds right now. The Miami Dolphins are still in first place at 5-2. The Buffalo Bills are 4-3, and the New York Jets are right behind both of them. Now, listen, I know that this sounds far-fetched, and I know I might be getting ahead of myself, but I genuinely do not believe that it's too far-fetched to say that these Jets have a chance to compete for the division when you look at how the schedule is shaping up. The Jets got through their hardest part of the schedule, and if the Jets do what they're supposed to do and beat the teams they're supposed to beat, and you look at who the Dolphins have to go up against, you look at who the Bills have to go up against, I'm not going to sit here and guarantee a division win, but I will say the Jets, if everything goes in our favor, we'll be competing. We will be a 1 game back from first place eventually. We may be tied for first place eventually. We may even have first place lead in the AFC East, dare I say, by December. So, Jack, I know I'm a little ahead of myself. I may be just drinking all this, optimism Kool-Aid after not having a game for the Jets. But how do you feel looking at this AFC East standings right now.
You got a little caffeine in the system today?
I got caffeine in the system right now, always.
Let's go, baby. Yeah, man, I agree. I mean, the division right now, I mean, we're obviously, a couple games back from Miami. We're a half a game back from Buffalo. And yeah, I mean, it's right there for the taking. When you look at how the Miami Dolphins perform against good teams, and then when you look at how the Buffalo Bills have been floundering as of late, dropping one to the Jaguars and then dropping one to the New England Patriots, it's up for grabs, man. When you see the way that this New York Jets defense is playing consistently, not just a flash in the pan, when you see the way they're playing consistently against great quarterbacks, shutting them down and making them look pedestrian, there's absolutely no reason why, with just a little improvement from this offense in the second half of the season, there's absolutely no reason why this Jets team can't make at least a play for the wild card in the playoffs 100%. But we're coming for that division title, baby. I'm not scared of the Buffalo Bills. I'm not scared of the Miami Dolphins. I'm more scared of the New England Patriots than I am the Buffalo Bills and Miami Dolphins, because the New England Patriots, we can't seem to beat them to save our lives. And they freaking beat the Buffalo Bills yesterday, but that's for another time. But yeah, man, I mean, the division is up for grabs. It might not look like it right now. You still see the Dolphins up there with a firm 2 game lead against the New York Jets. But like I said, with the way this defense has been playing, with just the slightest little improvement from the offense, and with the schedule we have coming up, let's not forget, we have the Giants, we have the Chargers, we have the Raiders. We have 3 teams that we should 100% beat coming up. And if we can go 3-0 before we see the Buffalo Bills again, OMG, ladies and gentlemen, sign me up for that. Because that is not only a possibility, that is what should happen. If we want to take that leap, and if we want to be a bona fide playoff team, we have to win the games that we're supposed to win. That starts next week with the Giants. I don't give a crap. I'm actually happy, by the way, that the Giants actually got a win this week against the Commanders, because I did not want to see the Giants at freaking 1-6. I don't know. That just scares the hell out of me. I'm already sweating thinking about that game. But then we got the Chargers, we got the Raiders. Win the games that we're supposed to win, and then go and beat Buffalo again. Sweep the Bills, damn it. And I know it's a month away, but sweep the Bills.
The Jets, if we do go and win 3 straight, that's not 3 in a row. That's 5 in a row, because the Jets are on a little win streak right now. We are on a 2-game win streak, if you guys have forgotten. We beat the Denver Broncos. We beat the Philadelphia Eagles. Now we're at our bye. And if the Jets do what they're supposed to do, take care of the Giants. If the Jets on Monday Night Football take care of business against the Chargers, and then they go to Vegas and beat the Raiders, so we can head into Buffalo to potentially sweep them, and then we have the Dolphins. So, dude, if the Jets want to win this division, this is the run they got to go on. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say, yeah, the Jets are about to win 3 straight and then beat the Bills and then beat the Dolphins and go on a 7 or 8 game winning streak. I don't want to sound too delusional here. Worst comes to worst, the next 3 games, they got to go 2-1. That's how I'm looking at it. 3-0 is what you expect, because we're probably the favorites in each of those games. But the reality of the sport of football, even bad teams, even good teams lose to bad teams. It's just the reality of the sport for whatever reason. So minimum is 2 wins out of the next 3 games, which will get you to a really good position in the AFC East. We will be 5-4 heading into that Buffalo Bills game if we do win 2 of the next 3 games. And then if we beat the Bills, which I'm expecting, 6-4 heading into that Black Friday game against the Dolphins. So things are really going in the Jets' favor. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what the rest of the NFL is doing. It doesn't really matter about the AFC wildcard race of who's winning, who's losing. It doesn't really matter who's winning and who's losing in the AFC East. The Jets got to take care of their business, and that's number 1. And I know it's the bye week, so that's the only thing the Jets really have as a fan base to really focus on, is rooting for other teams to lose. But now that we're back, I know that we're obviously going to prefer this team to win and help us out with our odds, but the reality is the Jets control their own destiny heading into week number 8 in the NFL. If they take care of their own business, we will make the playoffs. It's that simple.
Absolutely, man. And it's interesting. We saw a bunch of tweets yesterday, the rooting guide for Jets fans on the bye week. And hopefully it won't get to that point where we're completely relying on other teams to lose in order to make our chances better. Because you're exactly right, my friend. At this point, 3-3, coming after a bye week, heading into week 8, we are the creators of our own destiny. We need to win games, and we will get to where we want to go. If we lose games, then we're going to have to start exclusively rooting for other teams to lose as well, which is no position that a football fan wants to be in. So we got to go out there. We got to take care of our own business. But at the same time, if, the Bengals keep losing and the Chargers keep losing and the Raiders keep losing and maybe the Texans drop a couple games, that won't be the worst thing in the world, would it?
Yeah, and you look at the teams that the Jets are going up against in these next few weeks, they are going to be the teams that we are going to be competing against for that wild card race, right? The Chargers, they're 2-4. They can still get hot and make a push. The Raiders, of course, they're 3-4. But, without Jimmy G, let's bury them when we take on them. Even the Houston Texans, they're 3-3, and they've been one of the shockers across the NFL in terms of their ability to stay within it. With DeMarco Ryans and their rookie quarterback, C.J. Stroud, that's not going to be an easy game for the Jets, but those are the games that can really separate themselves in the AFC wildcard race. But if you want to get deeper into the AFC, Jack, the best division in football, which continues to be, is the AFC North.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough one.
It's going to be really hard to get through, those teams, especially with the Steelers winning and the Browns winning and the Ravens completely plummeting the Lions. The Bengals were on a bye week, so they sit at 3-3 with the New York Jets. But, Steelers at 4-2, Browns at 4-2, and the Ravens are, I believe, at 5-1. The AFC North is stacked, and that's probably the division that I'm looking at the most in terms of competing for that AFC wildcard spot.
Absolutely, man. I mean, that's a tough division. It's filled with super talented teams with talented quarterbacks. How about the freaking Rams getting hosed yesterday, man? What a disgraceful call that was. How are you going to tell me that that's a first down? How the hell are you going to tell me that's a first down?
They don't even review it.
And I'm no Rams fan, but it just goes back to how bad the officiating in the NFL has become. How are you going to tell me with a straight face that was a first down? That was absolutely disgraceful, man. If I'm a Rams fan, I am sick to my stomach today because that is a freaking out-and-out disgrace. But you look at, the rest of the division, the Cleveland Browns, the Steelers obviously getting the win yesterday. The Bengals are still the Bengals. I obviously know they're 3-3. They've had a rocky start to their season, but the Bengals are still the Bengals. And Lamar Jackson is absolutely balling out right now, as is the Ravens defense, as is the entire Ravens team, who freaking stuck it to the Detroit Lions yesterday. So yeah, that's a tough division, and I would hate it if one of those the Steelers or the Browns.
I can't believe the Steelers are 4-2.
I know, man, and it's
what an ugly 4-2.
It's Mike Tomlin, dude. Mike Tomlin is probably the most underrated head coach in football. I mean, it's still yet to have a losing season in, I believe, 16 years with the Steelers now. He's a leader, man. He knows how to get the job done. He's the type of coach that every organization in the NFL would like to have leading their team. And he proves it year in and year out, regardless of, who's playing quarterback, and they always seem to find a way to stay competitive. So yeah, it's going to be tough to compete with that division, but with the way our defense is playing, bro, and like I said, just a slight little tick of improvement post-bye week for this offense will go a long, long, long way. If we can convert even half of those field goals into touchdowns, we can win every game, man. Dude, I mean, that's how good this 100%. Defense is. That is how good that this defense is. Did you notice, and I love this, and I know you noticed it because we were with each other last night, how amazing was it to see the Eagles score more points in the first half against Miami than they did in the entire game against us the week prior? Dude,
it just goes to show
this
you
defense is elite.
And, dare I say, and the reason why I even bring this up, I'll show you who reminded me of this. It wasn't myself that thought of this. It was our very own TD Finstock. TD Finstock says, I woke up and realized Zach Wilson did what Tua couldn't, not turn the ball over against the Eagles. Hey, we can all agree, if Zach Wilson turned the ball over once against the Eagles, we don't win that game.
Probably not.
And I know it's sad to say that we have to praise our quarterback for doing the bare minimum, but the reality is
what it is.
If he's playing turnover-free football, and we're talking about Zach Wilson, with the defense that we have, we can win every game. And now, of course, 100%. The next step for Zach is to do not just not turn the ball over, but let's see be aggressive and score touchdowns. But Tua Tagovailoa's interception in the fourth quarter, that's what lost him the game. They were down by a touchdown.
Yeah.
There was 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and Tua had a chance to tie up the game, and he didn't. And I know that the refs were definitely not in the Dolphins' favor, but that is not an excuse, and neither were any of the injuries either. I don't want to hear that at all. And that just goes to show you that the New York Jets can compete with anybody. And we are a team that's proving everybody wrong week in and week out. And going into that game against the Dolphins and the Eagles, I was really curious to see how they matched up against each other, because I always believed that what makes the Jets so good, Jack, is their physicality. And I was so excited to see them match up against the Eagles, who are known for their physicality.
Yeah.
And you look at the Dolphins, they're a team that has no physicality. They're that speed threat off the edge, Tyreek Hill, kind of like the Ferrari, just type of like, we're going to beat you with matchups, but they're never going to punch you in the mouth. They're never going to outwork you in the trenches and outwork you through like real physical football.
Yeah.
They're good on the edge, which is, good for the modern day NFL. But when you go up against a top tier team like the Eagles, and then the Jets match up against the Eagles and outwork them in their own game, it just makes you really get excited as a Jets fan.
You know what we saw yesterday as well? We saw a injured Dolphins offensive line get absolutely bullied by the Eagles defensive line. And we did not really see that too much when the Jets played the Eagles. Obviously, Zach Wilson took a couple sacks. It wasn't a perfect day from the offensive line. The ground game was not, what we thought it was going to be. But our offensive line, our injured offensive line, I'll add as well, because I'm making the comparison between the Jets offensive line and the Dolphins offensive line right now. Both offensive lines are banged up. Both offensive lines are missing starters. And I think the Jets offensive line handled their shit a lot better than the Dolphins offensive line did yesterday. So that's a positive as well. Shout out to the Jets' banged-up offensive line standing strong against a talented Eagles front that was getting after it last night. And also, I mean, the Dolphins, I know the refs missed a lot of penalties that could have gone against the Eagles. I saw all that. But, I mean, how many times was Miami penalized? They shot
False starts.
They shot themselves in the foot 85 times in a row, it felt like.
Yeah, I mean, it just looked like sloppy.
They
on
looked
all
unprepared.
Accounts. And listen, it's going to be interesting. I know that the Dolphins have somewhat of an easy game this next week. It's against the Patriots, but the Patriots just beat the Bills. I know that the Dolphins actually know how to beat the Patriots, unlike the Jets. So this could be their get-right game, but then they go into Germany and have to face the Kansas City Chiefs that next week. So definitely interesting to see what's going on with the Miami Dolphins. And now let's transition real quick to the Buffalo Bills before we get deeper into our New York Jets, because dude, these Bills are frauds. And Dan Mitchell, I'm calling you out because Dan Mitchell keeps trying to bring down the rest of the AFCs with him. He's like, you know what, this week told me that every single team in the AFC East are frauds. And then I'm like, keep that to yourself. Cope with yourself there, okay? Relax. Keep the Jets out of this, Dan Mitchell. But the reality is, the Bills are frauds. I mean, we're talking about 3 straight weeks of looking like an incompetent offense, Jack. Dude, the only offense that the Buffalo Bills have is Josh Allen being a Superman. That's it. They don't have a run game. They don't have a complement, just precise going down the field methodically. It's either Josh Allen has to make crazy athletic game-wrecking plays or their offense stinks. They had 7 rush attempts to like 40-something pass attempts. That's a recipe for failure. They almost lost to the Giants last week, which they should have. And the week prior, they lost to the Jaguars. That's 3 straight weeks of the Buffalo Bills not looking good. We are going to freaking sweep them, and dare I say, we're going to finish ahead of them in the standings. I don't care if that sounds too outlandish.
I don't think it does, man. I mean, just look at what's been happening lately.
Hey, look at the standings
are
right there. We're breathing down their necks.
That's what I'm saying, and we've already beaten them. So when it comes to the point, if it does come to the point where we have the same record, guess who's up in the standings? The New York Jets.
Oof.
But I think this Super Bowl window that the Bills are in is shrinking by the day here, guys.
Close.
I mean, let's be honest about it. I mean, Josh Allen has looked like an average to below average quarterback for multiple games in a row now. And you mentioned it, man. I mean, the problem with the Buffalo Bills and their offense, I mean, first of all, their defense is good, but their defense is banged up. They're dealing with a lot of injuries. So, every team deals with that. You can't really give that too much life as an excuse. But it's worth mentioning that they are pretty banged up as a roster overall. But that being said, transitioning back to their offense, they're one-dimensional as hell, man. Like you said, no running game. How the hell do you have no running game?
Oh, the run game is Josh Allen.
How do you have no running game? It's pathetic, dude. James Cook, I thought this guy was supposed to explode onto the scene in year 2. Has done absolutely nothing so far in the NFL. And yeah, I mean, they're just completely one-dimensional. I mean, Stephon Diggs is a phenomenal player, but who else is a threat out there?
Give me the Bills. Like,
not
I want
Gabe
Josh
Davis,
Allen.
not Dalton Kincaid, not Dawson Knox. Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs are their entire offense. And the Jets' defensive line has been very good at shutting down Josh Allen's in terms of him using his legs. Now we have to learn how to lock up Stephon Diggs a little bit better. But that don't even matter, man, because we've already beaten the Bills. We know the roadmap to beating the Buffalo Bills. We make Josh Allen look like a bum whenever he sees the New York Jets defense. And I can't freaking wait to go 3-0 the next 3 weeks and then see the Buffalo Bills again and demolish them.
Oh,
oh my God. I know we sound absolutely psychotic right now, but that is possible, ladies and gentlemen.
It is
that is
mathematically possible.
Look at the schedule. We're beating the Giants. We're beating the freaking Chargers. We better beat the freaking Raiders. And then we got the Buffalo Bills. And I don't care that we're going up to Buffalo to play in their crappy little stadium.
We should have beat them in Buffalo last year.
Absolutely, we should have.
Mike
We should have
White's
swept
ribs
their
got
asses. We should have swept their asses last year, 100%.
Oh my gosh, this is great. I love seeing the AFC East plummet before our eyes.
And McDermott is overrated. I was a McDermott fan for a long time, but I mean, this team is stagnant, man. This team looks like it hasn't evolved. This team.
Bills fans want Ken Dorsey fired, who's their offensive coordinator.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, it looks stagnant as hell. There's nothing new and exciting when it comes to the Buffalo Bills offense. You know what you have to do. You have to try your best to shut down Stephon Diggs, and you have to limit what Josh Allen can do with his legs. And if you do that, the Bills have no other way to beat you on offense. They don't.
It's true.
They don't.
There's nothing about the Bills that really scare me besides Josh Allen being in it.
And how about the famous Bills defense letting the Patriots score 29 points on them yesterday?
And marching down the field.
Pathetic.
You know, the
Marching
Bills took the lead,
Yeah.
and then they needed a defensive stop with, less than 2 minutes to go. And the Patriots just needed a field goal to force overtime. But instead, they go all the way down the field, and Mac Jones scores a touchdown. Oh, my gosh.
And
what a crazy game that was.
And I hate that, we're talking positively about the Patriots, but
we got to see them get another win this week.
Buffalo Bills, man. Oh, I love it.
I hate rooting for the Patriots, but we got to root for them again this week because they're versing the Dolphins, baby. Come on now. Come on now, folks. If you're enjoying the show, it would mean a lot to us if you could simply hit that thumbs up button. We got 42 likes with 143 people watching, so please hit that thumbs up, guys. We really, really appreciate each and every one of you guys tuning in. We're going to transition more into the New York Jets. We also have the call-in link live if any of you guys want to come on throughout the show. Jack and I are always down to be live with you folks. And also, as you guys can see, we got the download and listen to our podcast on Apple and Spotify available down below in the description. I've seen a couple of you guys download it and rate it and give us a little review, but not enough of you guys. Come on now. I know you guys are on Apple. I know you guys are on Spotify. It would mean so much to Jack and myself if you can simply go into the description of this live show. You'll see download the Jets Media Podcast, Spotify link, Apple Podcast link, whichever way you get your podcast. Please do us a favor. Go onto those links and download the podcast. Give us a rating. Give us a review. It would go a long way for our podcast, guys. I really would appreciate that. So let's get into the midseason grades for the Jets because I think there's a lot of things about these Jets that I'm excited to kind of break down. And then, of course, we got a Giants game to talk about. And I also want to talk about the rest of the schedule as a whole. But there's a lot of interesting grades because there's so much about this Jets team to be excited about so far this season, whether it's the defense. But the coolest part about the defense, in my opinion, is definitely the rising stars. Like the players that were not stars last year, that being Quincy Williams, that being Bryce Huff, that being Jermaine Johnson. Like those three guys are perfect examples of why this Jets defense is elite. Because now you add those three ascending players with a Quinnen Williams and a CJ Mosley and a DJ Reed and a Sauce Gardner, and then it's just an absolute nightmare for any opposing offenses that we go up against. So really, really exciting stuff. But I'm excited to break down the Jets overall. And let's give out the grades. In the chat, I want you guys to be interactive as well. Hemlock with the $2 says, Jets are vulnerable too. Giants game won't be easy. Yeah, absolutely.
Giants are bums. Don't give me that. We're about to smoke the Giants.
Yeah, I mean, listen, any game in the NFL is hard.
No,
and
of course.
The Jets got to be able to be on their A game. And of course they're vulnerable. They can lay an egg for all we know, but they're not.
We're going to beat the Giants by at least 2 scores.
Oh, they better. The defense better have their A game on, bro. And their offense as well. I mean, come on now. I know that the Giants.
That's another thing. Who do we have to worry about besides Saquon Barkley? Nobody.
What do you mean, bro? They got
Stop it. Hyatt, Waller. Stop it. Jets defense is about to destroy those bums.
No, yeah, that was an ugly win for the Giants yesterday. Nothing to really excite me out of there. But let's get into some grades, Jack.
Let's do it, baby. I'm excited to give you this first one because it's a tough one. It's a tough one. I'm giving you a tough one out of the gate. give me a letter grade, and this goes for everybody in the chat as well, joining with us live. Mekhi Becton. Give me a letter grade for Mekhi Becton.
Mekhi Becton, for me, he gets a solid B, borderline B+. He is available, he is healthy, and he is making fools look like fools. I mean, he's not only just playing great at left tackle, and there's a lot of plays where he likes to get back, but how rare is it to have a left tackle to have a highlight reel where there's a viral clips of him on social media of him bullying people, and that happens to be against the Eagles. So I give him a B+, honestly, because he is playing a rock at left tackle. Ever since he's been at left tackle, Lincoln Tomlinson next to him is playing his best football at left guard. And I think there's still room for improvement, right? His pass protecting has been good, but there has been times where he's been giving up a sack here and there. But that's going to happen. You're going to get beat here and there. But listen, Jets fans, we should be very pleased with Mekhi Becton so far this season, and he's only going to get better and better as the season goes on and the healthier he gets.
I agree. I'm gonna give Mekhi Becton a I don't want to say B-, but somewhere between a B- and a B. I agree with everything you said. But correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure he's like one of the most penalized players in football this year. So that's something that we got to see cleaned up. But Mekhi, the availability, like you said, is huge. The fact that we're able to move him from right tackle back to left tackle. Hopefully, he can now stay at left tackle. And yeah, he's come a long way, man. I mean, he was one of the big question marks heading into this year. And I'm happy to see that he's, first and foremost, remained on the field, remained available.
Yeah, I mean, that's the most important for me. You got ABT down for the year. You got Tippmann now going to miss significant time. And you got Mekhi out there in the second level. Another part about Mekhi Becton I got to show him love, because I really love this about him, is his energy and his enthusiasm and his passion. I mean, whenever the Jets score a touchdown, he's the first one out there getting pumped up. Whenever Breece Hall has a big run, you see Mekhi just like you just see him, he's really in it. He's not just like, lackadaisical. I feel like the passion that he shows, that how much he actually cares, is really fun. I really like that about him. It kind of gets me fired up. You like to see our own players show that type of passion and that fire.
Absolutely. All right, moving on. Another fun one. Moving on to MC2, Michael Carter II.
One of the most underrated players on the entire Jets
So
defense.
underrated.
I mean, that's another, you can even say A- for me. I mean,
I was going to say A-.
He has not done anything. I mean, everything.
Especially last week with how he was able to step up last week.
The man had to
Eagles,
go outside.
Playing outside for I think the first time in his career. Have we ever seen him out there?
In the NFL, his first time in his career. He did a little bit of it at Duke, but in the NFL, dude, Michael Carter II is a sure tackler. He's going to get a lot of tackles for losses. He comes on blitzes here and there. He is like literally one of the best corners in the NFL in terms of separation allowed. I mean, the man does everything. And the cool thing about him is not just like he's really good in coverage. He's good at tackling. He's good against the run. I mean, he is a top 5, borderline top 3 nickel in the entire NFL. He
Absolutely.
is a sure player. And by the way, he's been playing with an injury all season long. If you notice that big ass sleeve he has on his left arm, he's dealing with an elbow injury. So hopefully this bye week will help him out. That elbow injury happened like before week 1. So he's had it throughout the whole season, playing through it. The elbow's not going to keep him out. So I got to give him an A-. I think that, of course, the interception he gets called back, not like he did anything. And last year he should have had a pick 6. So it's beautiful to watch his development in year number 3 underneath Robert Salah.
It's kind of interesting how the Michael Carters have kind of flipped. Not that anybody ever hated either of them, but I think now we're kind of in a place as Jets fans where Michael Carter II is more beloved than running back Michael Carter.
Yeah, and I think that's a lot to do with the Dalvin Cook.
Of course.
In terms of we're not seeing a lot of Carter. The running back, and he has had 2 drops, so the volume's not there for Michael Carter, but you are right. MC2 has kind of leveled up his game, and he's one of the more underappreciated players in this entire Jets defense.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Rich, because that brings me to my next player, and this might be the first sketchy rating that we get here, guys. Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, I mean, Dalvin Cook, we can even, branch this off to a little, the rumors with the trade deadline looming next week. I made a video on the channel. There's a report from Diana Rossini of The Athletic saying that both Dalvin Cook and Carl Lawson are available for a trade. Now, it does not mean that Joe Douglas is relentlessly calling teams to trade him away, but they are available in case teams want him. So Dalvin Cook's been nothing short of a disappointment, right? It's that simple.
Yeah.
He does not look like himself. He looks slow, a step slow. Every time he gets the ball, nothing really works. So I'm giving that man like a C-, if not an F. I mean, he's shown nothing. Like, he is like statistically the worst analytical running back in the NFL. Like, he has not shown me anything. He has a fumble. So like D, F. I mean, I don't want to.
I will say in his defense, I think that we use him wrong. I don't see the reasoning for, bringing him out there and using him like we use Breece Hall. They're completely different players. I'd rather see Dalvin Cook primarily, and I know this is what we have Michael Carter, still around for, why we didn't trade him away upon getting Dalvin Cook. But I would like to see Dalvin Cook used more as a pass catcher. I mean, I don't think he's a bad player. Yes, he looks to have lost a step, but he was a fantastic player. So now if he's just a good player, I think there's still, we might see him get traded within the next couple days.
So where do you stand on that? If you're the Jets and you're in a win-now season and there's no long-term future with Dalvin Cook, right? This is the double-edged sword. This is kind of what the decision the Jets had to make with McCall Hardman. They see a young rookie with Gibson. They want to give all the time to play. The Jets have a rookie in Izzy Abanikanda who has not touched the field. So should the Jets trade Dalvin Cook and give Izzy his chance to mix in with Breece Hall? Or, since we are in a win-now season, let's keep the depth, let's keep the veteran presence of Dalvin Cook. Maybe he gets his feet underneath him throughout the rest of the season. If you're the Jets, are you trading Dalvin, or do you trade him away with the, Izzy being ready to go, fresh legs off the practice squad? Or, just not being a healthy scratch every week?
Well, we know Izzy's going to be here for the next couple of years on this rookie deal. Same thing with Xavier Gibson. So I say you keep Dalvin Cook, man. I was kind of disgusted with what I saw from McCall Hardman yesterday. Not disgusted with McCall Hardman, but disgusted with the Jets for not even making any sort of effort to get him involved.
Well, that's just the beginning. Hardman's about to go crazy with Kansas City.
I mean, you just saw it yesterday. You saw he's like, oh, I'm home. I'm back. I can play football again. And he's instantly making, game-changing plays. He had a huge return,
have to say,
had a big catch.
I have a lot of respect for Hardman, because you go back to last year with the whole how Elijah Moore handled the situation to how Hardman handled it. And I'm just talking about McCall Hardman as a human. I have a lot of respect for him. He could have made this a big deal. He could have made this into a negative, like off the field type of distraction, but he didn't. I feel like he handled his business in the most respectful way possible. His press conference when he got back to the Chiefs, he had nothing but great things to say about the Jets coaching staff and the great things to say about the organization. And those little things I appreciate. So just I tip my cap to you, McCall. Good luck in Kansas City. Sorry we could not utilize you in New York. I would prefer you obviously stay here and be utilized and help out this offense. But I just want to give him some respect because it could have been the flipped out on the other side of things with like Elijah Moore. Yeah. Complete opposite situation.
No, absolutely. He was, handled it very well. Was very gracious throughout his Jets tenure, as short as it was. I really thought we were going to see some highlight plays from him this year. I was really banking on that, but wasn't the case. And then we see him go back home to Kansas City yesterday and be an instant difference maker. So I don't know. The mighty Jet offense couldn't find a way to get McCall Hardman involved. Use Dalvin Cook the right way, damn it. Stop running him between the tackles. Come on.
Speaking on the trade stuff, before we get to the next grade, Carl Lawson's the other guy who's available.
Mm-hmm.
So there's Carl Lawson. This is interesting.
He's gone.
The Jets are fully healthy at defensive line, 10 different defensive linemen. We need to absolutely have one healthy scratch per game. It was Michael Clemens, it was Carl Lawson, it was Will McDonald throughout the entire 6-week process. So do the Jets get rid of Carl Lawson because he's definitely not getting extended, or do you keep him for the hopes of depth throughout the rest of the season, even though he doesn't really look the same after his back issue?
No, I'm done with Carl Lawson. I think, if we didn't have all these awesome young players that we did, it would be one thing, but I'm good with Bryce Huff, Jermaine Johnson, and Will McDonald as the future of that position. And I'm happy with the performance that those guys have had so far. And I think all three of them will continue to get better and better and better. And see you, Carl Lawson.
Yeah, I think that's it. I don't know what team is going to want that man, but we shall see, guys. A lot of interesting trade rumors. The trade deadline is a week from tomorrow. And I love how we're talking about selling our own when the Jets should be buying. So that brings me to my next point. I don't know. If there is a position I want the Jets to trade for, it's definitely offensive line help, 110%. Mm-hmm. Interior. But, if the Jets, if somehow a wide receiver does become available, whether that is, Cortland Sutton because he fits in with the Hackett system, I don't know who it is, but the Jets should definitely be aggressive and make a move at the deadline. Just really hard to guess who it is at this point. But let's get into the next player grade, Jack. Who you got?
Let's see. Who do I got? All right. This is an interesting one. John Franklin Myers.
JFM has had a quiet, good season for the New York Jets.
Man. He
very
has,
quietly.
Dude.
Now you look at the stats, and this is with the whole defensive line. You look at the box score, you're not going to really say that. But, dude, he's having consistent pressures. By the way, I don't know the exact stat. I'm going to try to find it, but I'm pretty sure he's like top 10 in the NFL in pressures. So he's getting after the quarterback. He's not wrapping them up with sacks-wise. He's got a 67.5 overall grade on PFF, 67.8 pass rush grade, which is really good, and then run defense is not so great. Listen, he only has 1 sack on the season, but his pressure rate is through the roof. So I'm going to have to give him like a B, a solid B for me. Again, he's not, lighting it up. He's not doing anything where you're like, dude, this guy's elite, but he is making a difference on this defensive line. He is part of that elite 10-man rotation that we got, right? Bryce Huff, Jermaine Johnson are the 2 ascending stars. Of course, we have Quinnen Williams already there. But without John Franklin Myers, man, he's taking advantage of his one-on-ones. He's that power element on that edge. And, he's been doing his job. What the coaches are asking for him to do, he's doing. Like every single rep. There's never a time where I'm thinking to myself, dude, what's JFM doing? So I really, really like what JFM has done so far.
I agree, man. I think JFM, like you said, quietly having a very good year. You look at some of the tape where he's just dominant. And I think what we're seeing is there's just this Jets defensive line is so freaking good that not everybody can be the superstar. Not everybody can have the shining role. But I mean, JFM is just one of the pieces that makes this Jets defensive line so dangerous and so deep and so good, because he's a very, very good player who, doesn't even have the most prominent role, I guess you could say, on this defensive line. So I'm high on what JFM has been able to bring to the table this year. Next one is another interesting man. I know this player has missed some time recently, so it affects it. But Sauce Gardner.
Sauce. Now, Sauce Gardner is doing his job too. People are like, oh, sophomore slump. Right, he's leading the NFL in separation allowed. He's not putting up the numbers. But, dude, there hasn't been a time where I'm thinking to myself, dude, Sauce, you got to be better than that. The only time is us hoping that he can get that interception. You think back on that Dallas Cowboys game, that pick 6 that he dropped. He had a couple other opportunities for him, but he's still not getting beat over the top. He's still not giving up any touchdowns. But our standard for Sauce Gardner is through the roof, and I've said this all offseason that when you're a rookie and you're all first-team pro, your standards is so high that it's going to be hard for him to match that. And I think he is, literally close to that. He just hasn't been that, there hasn't been a lot of volume. I feel like quarterbacks are also not even targeting. So I'm giving Sauce like a B+. I mean, he has not done anything to make me feel like he's regressing, and I think the only thing that's holding him back to be an A is capitalizing on those interceptions.
I agree. I'm going to give Sauce a B simply because of the missed opportunities. While, he still hasn't let up a touchdown. He's still, doing his thing in terms of deflecting passes and locking guys down. But it's the missed opportunities. You go back and you look at the multiple dropped interceptions. I'm not coming down too hard on Sauce. He's my guy. He's, he's a fan favorite Jet, obviously, for a good reason.
If he wants to be historic, he's got to get these picks.
That's what I'm saying. If we're going to continue to compare him to Darrelle Revis, which you can't help yourself but do, he's got to make those game-changing plays, which I think he will. I hope he will. So right now, Sauce,
he's got an 80.9 coverage grade, which is freaking phenomenal on PFF. So his coverage has been elite, and I just feel like overall, Sauce Gardner's been doing his job, and I think that's really all we can ask from him. And Bryce Hall got an interception. Quinnen Williams has an interception. It's only a matter of time until our guy, Sauce Gardner, gets his interception this season.
Yep.
Johnny's in the chat. Checking in, boys. We nasty. Johnny, great to see you, my friend. Great member of the channel.
What's up, Johnny?
Been tuned in for years and years, man. Johnny, hope all is well with you at home.
Appreciate you, Johnny.
Miss you, my man. What a great guy.
Awesome guy.
His call-ins were always awesome. I love to see that. But getting into Sauce Gardner, his grade last year, he had a 90 coverage grade last year, which is just elite. And his PFF grade as a total player last year was 87.9. Right now, he's at 76. So, again, there are some improvements for Sauce in his standards, but I'm going to stick with my guns and give him a nice B+.
All right, I think that's very fair. I give him a B. All right, moving on. I wanna. All right, this is gonna be a good one, and I think there's only one. I think there's only one answer. Bryce Huff.
Oh, A+. I mean, there's literally no other discussion.
The man's a dog.
No, Bryce Huff is literally.
Stop it right now.
Bryce Huff is playing like the best edge rusher in the entire NFL. like he has the most. He is up there with Aiden Hutchinson, Micah Parsons, Nick Bosa, you name it. There's not a better pass rusher in the NFL is doing what Bryce Huff is doing.
A+.
I mean, A+. His pass rush grade is through the roof. And my biggest fear is that Joe Douglas is going up to him and saying, hey, we want to extend you. But he's like, I appreciate the offer, but we can make way more money on the open market than this. And the Jets are not really at a spot where they can, like, give him the bag. Mm-hmm. So I'm assuming the Jets are trying to negotiate a deal with him. But if you're Bryce Huff and you're his Kent, they might, you know, some people like this, especially when you're an undrafted free agent making pennies in NFL standard terms for these last 4 years. He's going to want to cash out. So it's going to be really interesting to see if the Jets are going to be able to retain him.
Please, football gods, let us retain this guy, because it is not every day, especially at this position where, you know, like it or not, the Jets have struggled at this position since, like, you know, who?
Years.
Jonathan Abraham? You know, like really going back that far. I mean, I think the last time we had an edge rusher for the Jets with double-digit sacks was John Abraham.
Pay that man.
So, yeah, I mean, pay the freaking guy, man.
James.
Not every day that comes across your way. What up, James?
$5. Let go. We on the way to the top of the AFC East. Big day yesterday for us. It's time to capitalize and take this division. No one scares me. It's time now. The time is now,
baby. No one scares me is right.
Salute to you, James. We appreciate you, as always, tuning in. Let's go. Love it. But, yeah, man, Bryce Huff needs his extension.
A+.
A+. I mean, you can't have a better season so far than what he's doing.
A freaking plus. And that takes me to my next guy, Mr. C.J. Mosley.
C.J. Mosley, top at his position. The Jets arguably have the best linebacker duo in the entire NFL. C.J. Mosley gives it an A, solid A. I mean, listen,
100%.
Like he has an 88.1 coverage grade, and an 87.1 defense grade. That is like top 3, top 5 linebackers. And he's another guy that, like, so many Jets fans have just been not appreciating since he got here. His first 2 seasons with the Jets were rough. Injury, opts out of COVID. And then since, bro, he's just been an absolute stud. He's been the captain of the defense. He's been an absolute monster for the Jets. He's having arguably the best season of his career with the New York Jets right now, before our very eyes. And Quinnen Williams is the star in terms of ascending, but C.J. Mosley is lighting it up, man. He's the captain. He's holding everybody accountable. His tackles for losses in the backfield. The coverage has been such a big improvement for his game as a whole. A 92.1 coverage grade against the Eagles, 87.5 coverage grade against the Broncos. So these past 2 games, he has been covering at a high clip, not to mention a 78.6 pass rush grade, which is telling you that he is sending more on linebacker blitzes, 85.1 tackle grade, and his run defense is at 70. Bro, C.J. Mosley, another stud for the New York Jets defense.
It's a solid A. It's a very solid A, verging on A+. I mean, let's be honest, because he was most recently praised by Jason Kelce for his speed. And he's getting up there in age, ladies and gentlemen. Let's not forget.
Thank you for opting out that COVID year, man. He got a year off the legs.
Man.
Gave him an extra year of juice.
Man. And, I mean, he's got so much left in the tank. And not only what he brings to this team as a player, but as a leader and as the anchor of this defense and as a veteran who's been in every situation that the NFL has to offer.
I was looking at his contract, and I'm like, damn, like he signed a 5-year lucrative deal, and like that deal is so worth it. He's with the Jets again next year, and then you wonder, is this someone you want to extend for like cheap and like have him and Quincy Williams locked up, like,
and have him just play with the Jets for the rest of his career?
Yeah, I mean, he's 31 years old, and there are some linebackers.
Look at Bobby Wagner, who's still playing at an extremely high level.
There are linebackers that he could play till he's 35.
Absolutely.
So shout out to CJ Mosley, another stud for the Jets. Jetted out with the $2. Wanted the Browns to lose, but I'll take I'll take that weekend, 100%. We wanted the Browns to lose. We wanted the Steelers to lose for sure. But, hey, the teams in our division lost, and that's what matters the most, in my opinion. Thank you for the $2. Jetted out.
I got a couple fun ones. I got like 3 or 4 more left. We're getting to the end of the alphabet here. I'm skipping around, obviously, guys. We're we don't have to spend 5 minutes talking about Billy Turner. But we're going to move on to Quincy Williams.
Oh, man. That's A+.
That's A+.
I mean, the Jets do have the best linebacker duo in the NFL.
It's A+ because nobody expected. We expected him to get better, as you expect players to get better every year. But nobody expected his growth to be this extreme, this fast, and for him to just get national recognition now. Everybody knows who Quincy Williams is. He's put his name on the map. He is a top 10 linebacker in football, maybe top 5 linebacker in football.
Oh, no, he is.
Statistically, he is. There you go. And, I mean, we've seen him grow in the areas that required growth. What more can you ask for, man? So I'm giving him an A+, man. I'm giving him an A+ because nobody expected him to develop at this rate, and he is freaking fun to watch, man. He is freaking fun to watch.
Yeah,
and I'm giving the guy an A+.
And guys, real quick, this is a list courtesy of NFL Network. Here's the top 10 linebackers, and we got CJ Mosley at 4, Quincy Williams at 5. I mean, we have literally 2 top 5 linebackers on the team at the same time. So Quincy Williams gets all the stars. My favorite part about his game so far definitely is his development under this Jets coaching staff. I've always believed in Quincy Williams from the day that we got him. I saw something special in him. I saw the speed, and I think that's what really makes him so special is his speed and his play recognition, where you can't teach that type of explosiveness, and he just wraps people up, sure tackler. His coverage grade has been growing. I mean, he has an 87.1 coverage grade, and that was his biggest flaw. So the fact that he's covering at a high clip, he's getting pressure on the quarterback when he does blitz. He's getting the tackle for losses. He's also a clutch player. Yeah. I mean, the 2 wins that we have against the Broncos and the Eagles, Quincy Williams has something to say about the last reps on defense to go win the game, and that's something that we want to see, a defense that can close the door and win the game, something that the Bills, for example, couldn't do against the Patriots. The Bills defense, they needed to stop on the Patriots to win the game. They couldn't do it. The Jets needed to stop against the Broncos to win the game. They got the job done. Quincy Williams strip sack. The Jets needed to stop against the Eagles to win the game on the last drive. They did, 4 and out. Quincy Williams had a big-time tackle on a check down, and Jalen Hurts throws up a bomb on 4th down. So A+. A+ for Quincy.
A+. Quickly, let's move on to his brother, Quinnen
Williams. Now, this is interesting because
this is a tougher one.
I think Quinnen Williams is quietly having like just as good as the season last year, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like that because he's not getting sacks. Yep. I mean, look at the numbers on PFF. He is right there. Last year at a 90.1 grade. This year he has 87.5. His run defense has improved from last year, from 77 to 85 this season. His tackling grade is up, and his pass rush grade is still grading out at 75. So I'm giving him, I know it's hard because you want Quinnen Williams to be like getting sacks and strip sacks, but he has a freaking interception. He's doing his job. He's taking on triple teams. He's taking on double teams. He's freeing up opportunities for John Franklin Myers, Bryce Huff, Jermaine Johnson. You just look at the grades and you look at his impact. If you're looking at the box score, you will give him a B. But if you watch the film and you watch the tape, and you watch him go out there every single week and take on his triple team and double team responsibilities, consistently getting pressures, which, by the way, he is literally top 3 in pressures among the defensive linemen interior, I'm giving it an A-. I mean, he's doing his job. There's never a time I'm looking at Quinnen, I'm like, what is Quinnen doing? He's not making an impact. His impact is being there, but the reality is it's hard to get those sack total numbers when you're being triple and double teamed and when you have Bryce Huff and Jermaine screaming off the edge, taking the sacks away from you. So I give him an A-. I mean, he's not shown a drop-off in my opinion, but last year he's an A+.
I agree, man. I agree with everything you said. I think, I'm right there with you, A-, A. Last year A+ because of the sacks, but it's not like he's out there playing bad. He's still absolutely disruptive, dealing with double teams, triple teams sometimes. So yeah, he's
20 hurries.
He's a problem.
20 quarterback hurries, 5 quarterback hits.
Offenses are still game planning for Quinnen Williams. You bet your ass about that,
dude. The whole time, and that's freeing up opportunities for so many people.
Absolutely, man. Why do you think we've seen the emergence of Bryce Huff or of Jermaine Johnson? Or, JFM having a quiet, good year. It's because of a guy like Quinnen Williams.
You know who else is at
so much attention that you have to respect it.
You know who deserves some love on the defensive line, who has been such a quiet stud and such a quiet, big addition in the offseason? Quentin Jefferson.
I knew you were going to say that.
Dude, Quentin Jefferson, talk about sack numbers. He's stealing them all from Quinnen. He has like 3.5 or 4.5 sacks. He has 4.5 sacks. So Quentin Jefferson is like, he replaced Sheldon Rankins, and Sheldon Rankins has 1 sack this year. Yeah. He signed a deal for 1 year, $10 million. We got Quentin Jefferson 1 year, $4.5 million. So how about Joe Douglas making that move? And he's been the beneficiary of an elite defensive line, making plays when we need to. That fumble recovery against the Broncos was great. His pass rushes grade is up right now, and part of that defensive line, he deserves flowers to me, man. I give him a nice BB+ just from his role with the Jets, getting those sack totals.
Absolutely, man. I agree. I'm glad you brought him up. I skipped right past Quinnen Jefferson, but maybe I shouldn't have. Maybe I should have given him some respect. All right, we're moving on to the last 2 now.
Give me some offense. We're doing a lot of defense.
Yeah, we're moving on to the last 2, and they both have the same last name.
Wilsons.
Haha. Let's start with Garrett.
Garrett Wilson. Now, I think the problem with Garrett Wilson isn't him. It's the lack of opportunity.
I think so.
But, I really genuinely believe if Aaron Rodgers is healthy, this man would be lighting up the league still. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. But, listen, man, Garrett Wilson, for me, you look at the numbers, they're very similar to what they were last year to this point. So it's not like he's blowing it up. But every time the ball's thrown to Garrett Wilson, he's catching it. Mm-hmm. I mean, in acrobatic, crazy ways. He has that elite long touchdown against the Cowboys, that elite one-handed touchdown against the Bills, and there hasn't been a lot of opportunities, unfortunately, for him. We are seeing a breakout game in terms of volume, 12 targets, 8 catches, 90 yards against the Eagles. I'm going to give him a B+, but I don't think that's because he's doing anything wrong. I think it's just a lack of stats and a lack of offense kind of clicking through the air. So
a lot of this comes down, and I agree, and you're making good points, because a lot of this comes down to the players around this particular player that we're talking about. Or going back to Dalvin Cook, I was making the argument that I think he was, being used in the wrong way. So that goes to the coaching staff, Nathaniel Hackett, and the rest of the offensive staff, and Salah. So yeah, I mean, there's other factors that go into these grades we're handing out besides the individual play of the player. But if you're talking about the individual play of Garrett Wilson, I'm giving him an A. But if you're talking about what he's been able to do statistically so far this year, it's more in the B range. Like Richie said, it's the lack of opportunities coming his way. Although I love the way you put it, a breakout game, at least in terms of volume, getting those 12 targets against Philadelphia, that's what we want to see.
Should have been over 100 yards if it wasn't for that crack block on Lazard.
100%. He is our best offensive player. Well, I don't know, because we have Breece Hall. Maybe we should throw Breece Hall in there. We'll give Breece Hall a ranking after this. I can't believe I went past him. But Garrett is certainly, in the top 2 offensive players. It's him and Breece Hall competing for that number 1 offensive player on the New York Jets spot. So the talent is there. It's just, force feed the guy the ball. And it looked like they at least attempted to do that against the Philadelphia Eagles.
They got to do that.
Is a huge
double-digit targets minimum needed to 100%. Garrett Wilson. And I think
especially against the Giants defense, against the Chargers defense, against the Raiders defense.
And that's what we need for Zach Wilson's development. I mean, you want to help Zach develop, you give Garrett the ball. The man's open all the time. So
yep.
Hemlock with the $2 says Garrett gets points for leadership in adversity. 100%. I mean, talk about Garrett Wilson's leadership off the field. He's been so special. He has held himself accountable, not pointing fingers, wrapping his arm around Zach when he needs to wrap his arm around Zach. He's not frustrated and cursing out Zach Wilson when he's struggling. Instead, he gets into Zach and he's like, listen, man, you got it. You're a stud. You just got to, do whatever. We're not in the locker room, but I think Garrett Wilson not only is checking all the box on the field, but off the field, his character's through the roof. And that's what Aaron Rodgers, how many times did Aaron Rodgers have to talk about Garrett Wilson in the offseason, comparing him to Devontae? And the number one thing I noticed about when Aaron talked about Garrett wasn't about his athleticism or anything. He talked about him as a person, how good of a human being Garrett Wilson actually is. And that's what Aaron Rodgers says that he values the most out of his teammates. If you're a genuine good person, like, you're going to translate into a good football player. And that's what we're seeing from Garrett Wilson.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. It's just a matter of volume for Garrett. He's made many phenomenal catches this year. He hasn't had any drops or anything like that, so it's just a matter of volume for Garrett, and he's an absolute stud. The ball just needs to go his way, and he will make it happen.
100%, man.
Let's go back to Breece Hall. I can't believe I skipped past him.
There's another offensive player that we need to talk about too. But we'll get through Breece first. All right. So, Breece Hall. Listen, guess what? Breece Hall is playing better football than he did last year, and he's coming off an ACL tear. I'm pretty sure he leads the NFL or up there in yards per carry. He has not really been able to get a lot of volume since the Broncos game is the first time. And you look at the numbers, he is more efficient as a running back than he was last season when he was fully healthy. This season, coming off an ACL. So that tells you all you need to know, that the ACL injury is good and he's clean. And I'm giving him he's had one breakout game, and the offensive line has to be more consistent. He gets a B+ for me.
Yeah, you took it right out of my mouth, man. I was going to go B+.
And he's another guy where he needs the volume in order to succeed, similar to Garrett Wilson. The one game he's got the volume is the game where he had that breakout game. We need 20 touches minimum from him a game. And that, a lot of it has to do with, the external factors of the time, the possession, the scores. I get that. It's hard to establish a run game. But Breece Hall is doing what he needs to do. And the fact that he looks this good coming off an ACL is just all you need to see.
I agree. Now, can I guess the player who you said we skipped? Wes Schweitzer. No, I'm just kidding. Tyler Conklin.
Yes.
All right, let's talk about Tyler Conklin.
Conklin deserves love.
He does deserve to be spoken about. First of all, I agree on everything Richie said about Breece Hall. B+. Offensive line needs to be more consistent. Breece has had one breakout game, but he always looks like he's on the verge of breaking one. I think it's just a matter of, again, volume. In order to have a game like he had a couple weeks ago against the Denver Broncos, you need that volume. A 70-yard touchdown comes after, a 3-yard run or a 4-yard run or a 2-yard run. You need to get in rhythm. You need to get that going. Breece Hall, you're a stud. More volume coming your way. Better offensive line play hopefully coming your way. You're a dog. You're absolutely phenomenal and a freak of nature. Moving on to Tyler Conklin, who has kind of emerged as a true tight end. I mean,
number one.
What the hell is going on, man?
He needs the ball more,
too. The Jets actually have a tight end?
They do, man. And Tyler Conklin deserves the love, bro. He's doing his job. He has become a very good football player for this Jets offense. And, a Nathaniel Hackett-led offense, you need to be able to have a tight end that's reliable. And I think that Tyler Conklin, every time you throw the ball to him, sure hands, catching it. Whenever he's lined up one-on-one with the linebacker, man coverage on an option route, he's beating him 9 times out of 10. His footwork is very agile for the big player that he is. His yards after the catch has been a fun thing to watch. He's not just going down like a possession type of receiver. He is making plays happen with the ball in his hands as kind of like a power guy as a tight end spot. And he's a reliable weapon for Zach Wilson. I think, all these pass catchers are slowly, methodically getting better and better. And I feel like we're seeing it all. And, we're hopeful that it's going to start to really click with the more time that Zach Wilson has to develop with the system with Hackett. But I give him a solid B, a B+ too. I feel like he is really ascended his play as a New York Jets tight end for this team.
For that one play alone a couple weeks ago where he caught the ball and dragged like 4 defenders.
And by the way, Kyle Brandt, man, you got to give him an angry run for that run. I mean, I can't believe he got snubbed.
Oh, did he get snubbed?
He got snubbed.
Oh, no.
It made me pissed off. I wanted to buy that T-shirt.
For that play alone, I'll lean more towards B+. And it's nice to see him being used. It's nice to see Zach Wilson throwing the ball his way. I think he's become a sort of safety blanket for Zach Wilson.
He has, man.
So that's great, man. It's great.
I really think that he's trending in the right direction. 65.1 grade so far this season. 67 receiving grade, has an 83 drop grade, which basically is a good grade because he's not dropping anything. And, he is this is his best season with the Jets so far, and you're number 2. So definitely good stuff from Tyler Conklin. And I honestly, if you're into fantasy football, you don't really have a tight end, he's on the waiver wires. He's someone that I would honestly consider, especially who the defenses are going up against. He can give you a solid 10 points a game, 4 or 5 catches, 50 yards, maybe even find the end zone eventually this season.
Yeah, I'm liking what he's been showing us. That brings us a nice segue into the final player grade, because then I want to give a coach grade. Zach Wilson, quarterback, New York Jets.
Zachary Wilson, Capono Wilson.
And
folks,
this is a tough one. Folks, we need to hear from every single one of you in the chat on this one. Give us a letter grade for Zach Wilson through 6 games of the 2023 NFL regular season. I got mine, but I want to give you guys a few moments. Think about it. Think long and hard about it. There's a lot of factors that go into this, and I want to know. We got a couple C's coming in. We got a C-. We got a C+. We got a D from Zachary. Tough going for Zach. Zach gets a C according to Marco. You got one in your head, Rich? You got a letter for Zach?
Yes, I do.
Mine, I agree with a couple people in the chat. Mine's a C+. I'm going C+, and I'll tell you why. We have seen improvement from Zach Wilson. That is a fact. That is not an opinion. We have seen improvement from Zach Wilson. We have not seen enough improvement. We have not seen enough passing touchdowns, and that's not exclusively his fault. I understand that, but he is the quarterback. And I can't get the freaking fumble against Kansas City out of my head. I'm sorry, I can't. That game was ours to win. We were marching down the field. Can't get the freaking fumble on a shotgun snap out of my head. So for that reason, I think C+ is a perfect area. I think C+ could even be being generous. I think more like a C. But I'll give him a C+. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt because of the adversity he's had to deal with since getting thrown to the wolves back in week 1. I mean, who had a better job than Zach Wilson before Aaron Rodgers got hurt? Oh my God, I don't have to get ridiculed by the fans and the media and the entire league this year. I get to sit behind my idol that I've grown up watching play. This is like a dream come true. 5 minutes later, right into the freaking pits of hell once again. So for that, and for us sitting here at 3-3, and Zach is our quarterback, so he's played an important role in us being 3-3. I'll give him that C+. He's got a lot of improvement left to go, but he has not been the reason that we've lost. How about that? How about that? Well, maybe he was in the Kansas City game. I don't know.
But if he didn't play good enough, he wouldn't have been able to be in that situation if Zach didn't play well in that Chiefs game.
You're absolutely right.
But, yeah, I agree with all the points you had. I think it's a very fair grade, Jack. I think a lot of everyone in the chat has good reasons for it as well. And I'm going to be a little more generous. I'm going to give him a B-. I think that Zach Wilson has proved to me that he's getting better and better week by week. Literally, the arrow is pointing up ever since week number 1. And you just factor in everything that's going on with Zach Wilson. Like, you don't realize the stress that this kid is going through this season. And just from the standpoint, like Jack mentioned, he was not supposed to be the quarterback here. And he's still 3-3 with this Jets football team, the same record we wanted Aaron Rodgers to be. And I don't think people realize how important that is. The slow increment of improvement from Zach Wilson. And we saw it. How did the Dolphins lose last night? Tua turned it over. I know that it sounds crazy.
Tua turned the ball over.
It sounds crazy to praise our quarterback for not turning the ball over, but we don't beat the Eagles unless Zach Wilson has a turnover-free game. And he did that. 0 turnovers. He protected the ball. The next step is going to be scoring touchdowns, which will elevate his grade to B+A territory if he starts scoring touchdowns. That's the only thing he's missing, folks. It'll be a different conversation if Zach's going out there and throwing picks left and right, and the defense are helping him out getting pick sixes and we're winning. That's not the case. Zach Wilson has developed into a game manager where he's a highly efficient, accurate quarterback. I can't believe I'm even saying that. He actually has accuracy, folks. He is getting the ball into the playmaker's hands. There's a lot of drops not going in his favor. He's showing his athleticism, being able to escape the pocket. Is he perfect? Absolutely not. There's times where he needs to get rid of the ball faster. There's times where he's holding the ball too long and takes a sack. There's opportunities where he misses Garrett Wilson on the right sideline for a touchdown, or that throw to Tyler Conklin where he could have had it for a touchdown, which was a difficult pass there. But you look at the stats, guys. all the interceptions that he had, the worst interception he threw this season was against the Bills. That was the only interception where I'm scratching my head like, what are you doing? You look like an idiot. Like, you're throwing it right to Matt Milano over the middle. Since that interception, I have not seen one of them where I'm like, wanting to rip my head out of my hair, right? The 3 picks he threw against Dallas, we're down 3 scores, and he starts pressing. One of them's a Hail Mary to Garrett Wilson for an interception. Another one was a miscommunication with Michael Carter. The other one was tipped up an interception. Okay, 3 picks in that Dallas game. And then since then, he's only had 1 pick, which was against the Broncos, which is Pat Surtain making a ridiculous play on the ball. Guys, Zach Wilson has 6 turnover-worthy plays. 6. Do you have any idea how low of a number that is? That's ridiculously low. So that's signs of improvement for Zach, because if he can be a turnover-free football player, which he's going to turn the ball over, but keeping at a minimum, and just be efficient, get the ball in the playmaker's hands, and utilize your athleticism, man, I'm giving him a B-, because without Zach Wilson playing the brand of football that he's been playing, we're 1-5, we're 2-4. And yeah, we want that Patriots game back. Yeah, we want that fumble back from the Chiefs game. And we want him to be able to play good football. But let's not forget the game-winning drive he had against the Buffalo Bills after throwing that interception and then marching down the field, having a crazy flick of a throw to Alan Lazard on 3rd down, a crazy dart to a throw to Garrett Wilson on 3rd down against the Bills, and then that touchdown pass to Garrett Wilson to tie up the game. I mean, there's a lot of promising signs that I'm seeing from Zach, so I'm going to be a little more generous, give him a B-, and I genuinely believe that he is showing signs of improvement. And you look at the PFF grade, guys, he has been slowly getting better and better week by week. And let's not forget, we talk about continuity, right? We're in year 3 of the system with Salah, with the defense, which is like the reason why they're clicking. This is year 1 of the system with Zach Wilson and Nathaniel Hackett. So, unfortunately, no one wants to say patience in the world of football, but especially when you have to put a consideration of the game plan around the offense had nothing to do with Zach Wilson all offseason, and the Jets' offensive coaching staff had to learn on the fly after week 1 to adapt to Zach, and I think they're finally starting to figure it out. And I'm just going to be generous and give him a B- with the idea of him trending in the right direction, man. 6 turnover-worthy plays in 6 games. That's averaging 1 turnover-worthy play a game. And if you look at it, he's only had a turnover-worthy play in 3 games, and he's had 0 turnover-worthy plays in 3 games. That's the type of things that I'm noticing from Zach Wilson. And, of course, not to mention his pre-snap stuff. That's really been the biggest thing for me, telling me that he's getting it mentally. He's understanding it. Oh, he can go to the line of scrimmage. Oh, he can recognize a coverage. Oh, you know what? I can check to this play and take advantage of this coverage and fire a dart to Garrett Wilson for a 1st down. I've never seen Zach do that in year 1 or year 2. Small little things. His footwork, his lower half, his ability to look off safeties. Oh, I'm going to, look to the left so that single high safety shuffles that way, and then just flip my hits and throw a dart down the right sideline to Garrett Wilson for a 35-yard gain. We haven't seen that from Zach. So it's
that was a beautiful play.
Small increment of improvements that I'm seeing from Zach that I haven't seen in years past. And yes, has he developed to be an average quarterback? Yeah, but you got to get to that average quarterback before you can become the franchise quarterback. So it's slow, steady progress that I've been impressed with Zach Wilson. And guys, you look around the NFL, statistically, Zach Wilson's playing a lot better than a lot of the average quarterbacks in the league, like a Ryan Tannehill, like a Daniel Jones, like a Derek Carr. I mean, there's a lot of quarterbacks around the league.
Daniel Jones.
Like, dude, that's not really saying anything, but that's telling you what? The Jets can win with Zach Wilson.
It's also saying, what the hell were the Giants thinking paying Daniel Jones franchise quarterback money? But Richie Malora laying it down, baby. That deserves one of these. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go.
Oh, Zach Wilson, 6 turnover-worthy plays? Oh, Tua has 7 turnover-worthy plays. What's up? Oh, Josh Allen?
Love it.
Let's see what Josh Allen's got. He's still got 6. All right.
Love it.
Dude, I'm telling you guys, Zach Wilson beat Josh Allen. He beat Jalen Hurts. He outplayed Patrick Mahomes. Should have freaking beat that guy. Oh, that game frustrates me. Had that bad fumble that really, really hurt us. But, dude, Tua couldn't outplay Jalen Hurts. Tua couldn't outplay Josh Allen.
Couldn't.
Tua has a lot better stats than Zach Wilson. He's a lot more wins than Zach Wilson. But, hey, he's playing winning football. That's all I need to hear.
Tua also has Tyreek Hill, who's just a freak of nature.
And can we also just, before we move on from Zach Wilson, this is probably the most impressive part of Zach Wilson, in my opinion, his ability to handle adversity. I mean, that's
why I gave him a C+.
dude, his resiliency, like, I know I mentioned this many times, but can we just remind ourselves of the narrative of Zach Wilson heading into that Chiefs game?
Yeah.
The entire planet Earth, including us Jets fans, wanted that man benched and never play a game of football for the Jets again. Joe Namath saying, I don't want to see Zach ever again. I mean, that's like the kiss of death. I mean, Joe Namath is the only thing that's holding this Jets history together with the ring. And he comes out there and he said that. I hated it too. I was so upset with Joe Namath. And I couldn't believe that. I mean, our own play. And Zach not only had to hear that, but he had to be in a press conference. Oh, Zach Wilson, what are your thoughts of Joe Namath saying that you suck? He had to hear that question. He had to answer it, and he answered it. Great. I mean, the fact that he was able to do that, and since that moment, Jack, 3 straight games. Obviously, we didn't beat the Chiefs, but since that Chiefs game, we're seeing the improvements, and his ability to handle the adversity mentally is giving me signs of like, wow, he actually can figure it out mentally, which is what I've been the biggest criticism about of his mind throughout his first 2 seasons with the Jets.
Yeah, man. He's really stepped up in a way that nobody really saw coming. I mean, remember just a couple of weeks ago, we were like, all right, Trevor Siemian season. We're getting ready to watch Trevor Siemian.
Trevor Siemian against the Broncos, revenge game.
For the rest of the way. All right, real quick, Rich, before we get into some Jets games, I do want to get your thoughts. Let's just go through the coordinators real quick. Let's start with the easiest one, Jeff Ulbrich. I think that's an easy A+, just based off of what we did without DJ Reed and Sauce Gardner last week alone. Tony Oden gets roped in there as well, our defensive backs coach. Jeff Ulbrich, I know you agree with me. That's an A+. This Jets defense is playing out of their minds, and it's because of a guy like Jeff Ulbrich who has their guys ready to go. No matter who's playing, who's not playing, these guys are ready. They plug in. They play at a high level. Guys like Craig James, guys like Tay Hayes, guys like Bryce Hall, guys coming in,
Tony
doing
Oden
their job.
deserves the credit for that, too.
Absolutely.
Especially those guys you named.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, I did just happen to name 3 defensive backs there for sure. But I mean, look at the emergence of Quincy Williams. You know, I mean, look at Jermaine Johnson playing at an extremely high level, Bryce Huff playing at an extremely high level. Ulbrich gets a fat A+ in my book. I imagine you agree.
And you know what Ulbrich deserves praise for? Not only the development of the players, but what's been most impressive to me, Jack, is his play calling. Like the time, like setting up games. Like we're seeing Jeff Ulbrich become a mastermind. Like it's hard to really break down, but when you watch a game, the Jets are setting up opportunities for them to have creative plays in the fourth quarter. And the Eagles is a perfect example. There was in the same formation, sending the same blitz over and over and over again. So when they get in the fourth quarter, they'll show the same look so that Jalen Hurts expects the same thing. But nope, Tony Adams drops back in coverage and gets that pick. That's a Jeff Ulbrich setting things up. He's playing chess out there. Those are like the Bill Belichick style of defensive minds. And like that's the thing. The play calling, the blitzes have been timely. The Jets are like first in the NFL in pressures, and we blitz the 3rd least. So the 4-man rush is getting home, but he has been sending blitzes, and when he does send blitzes, they're timely and they're looking really good. So the play calling has been out of his mind. And guys, I don't think he's going to become a head coach this season, but I would be shocked for him to not get a head coach interview because we got to really know Jeff Ulbrich more in Hard Knocks, but he is a leader. He's a leader of men. He's very well respected. He has a good camaraderie with not only the defense, but he has really good relationships with the entire roster, with the offense and special teams. And like Robert Salah was singing his praise, saying that he checks every box for a head coach. And I wouldn't be shocked. I don't think he's going to become a head coach after this year. But if the Jets defense continues to progress this way, and then the Jets defense replicates it next year, there is an opportunity for him to maybe get a head coaching gig. And how cool will that be? To be a franchise that we have head coaches leaving us. And not that I want Ulbrich to leave. I want him to stay selfishly. But that would be awesome if we can finally have a team where our own coordinators are good enough to leave and go be a head coach somewhere. I mean, we never experienced that as a Jets fan base.
No, absolutely, man. I got all the love in the world for Jeff Ulbrich and what he's been able to accomplish with this defense. Like I said, missing key players and guys step up and they're ready to go, and that's all coaching, man. And it starts with the defensive coordinator, Mr. Jeff Ulbrich. Moving on to a grade that I imagine will not be as stellar as an A+, Nathaniel Hackett and the offensive coordinator.
Hackett. I mean, let's keep it a buck here. The offense stinks. So the offense Okay, I'll take that back. It doesn't stink, but the offense.
I mean, come on,
isn't good.
it's borderline. It borderline stinks.
But the problem is our yards are up, but
I know.
the red zone
We're
is
moving the ball. We're moving
this
the ball.
close to the offense for figuring it out. We're this freaking close.
We're moving the freaking ball,
I mean,
man.
he gets, and also, and it's not really excuse, it's just kind of context. The same thing we talked about with Zach, but Hackett's in such a crazy situation that, like, he was so excited for Aaron.
He spent his summer preparing for another year with Aaron Rodgers.
And you know how much goes into installing an offense around Aaron Rodgers as a coordinator?
And then, the playbook is so limited once Zach gets in there, and, it finally feels like we're starting
there's a lot of responsibility on Hackett's
There's a lot of factors that go into this grade. It's still not going to be a great grade. I'm giving him a C. I'm going to go C minus. I got like you said, got to keep it a buck. And especially since we hear all this talk about the gold zone and gold member and whatever, all this emphasis on the red zone. And then when we get to the red zone, we stink. So I don't get that, man. That freaking bothers the hell out of me because this is supposed to be this guy's specialty, the gold zone, the gold zone, the gold zone. And we could not be less gold in the freaking gold zone. What is the opposite color of gold? Can somebody look that up for me? Yeah, we're brown. We're in the brown zone.
We're 0-9 in the red zone the last 2 games if you take away that Breece Hall touchdown.
And if we didn't have a freaking rock-solid kicker like we do in Greg Zuerlein, who's 9 for 9 in field goals the last 2 games, it would be a different story. If even half of those field goal attempts were touchdowns, we would be blowing teams out.
Dude.
We would have beaten the Eagles by 20 points.
Which is what gives me so much excitement that, like, if we do click, that we are unbeatable, okay? Now, the Jets are graded as the 6th worst offense in the NFL so far this season. They have a 63.5 offensive grade on PFF.
Who's number 1, though?
The New York Giants. But the Browns, look at the Browns right with us.
Yeah.
And we are very similar, the Jets and the Browns.
The Steelers, number 2.
And they're 4-2.
They're 4-2, man.
That's kind of wild.
Damn it, that pisses me off.
And the pass grade's probably even worse. The Jets are 6th worst pass grade. Pass protecting wise, sheesh, the Jets are 7th worst. Listen, man, that's really what the Jets are, the 4th best defense in the NFL, according to PFF, which is why Jeff Ulbrich got that grade. But yeah, I agree. I think Nathaniel Hackett, you look at the numbers, it's not pretty. He gets a C, in my opinion, CC+. I mean, just adding context to what he has to deal with, but that's no excuse anymore. You had 6 weeks to figure it out. You had a bye week now. Now you got to see this offense click. And we're not asking for the offense to be top 5. We're asking this offense to be average, bro. Give me 24 points a game and we win. I mean, like 8 out of 10 games a year, right? Yeah. You score 24 a game. That's all we need. You score touchdowns, and you give this defense leads. Like, we haven't seen a defense have a lead, Jack. Every win we have is from behind. We fell 10 points behind of the Eagles.
We had a lead for about 4 seconds versus the Broncos, and then they marched right down the field.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't had a lead to protect. So it's up to the offense to give us opportunities to have leads to protect. So he definitely gets a C.
And the inconsistencies as well. I mean, we've mentioned this, a couple times recently. But looking at, what Zach Wilson was able to do against the Chiefs when given the opportunity to throw the ball, and then you see, the stagnant offense that was on display against the Philadelphia Eagles. Where's the, can we throw a deep ball every once in a while? Can we, throw it up to a big, tall tight end one-on-one in the end zone and let him make a play like we did against the Kansas City Chiefs and saw success? I think
that one throw to Conklin was awesome on the left sideline, and he made a great catch, but the defender just did a good job of pushing him out of bounds. But I agree. We need more shots. I think Conklin's proven to be a vertical threat. I think Garrett Wilson, of course, is a vertical threat. You throw in Lazard out there, and I saw a report from Connor Hughes that the Jets are expected to get Xavier Gibson a lot more involved as a wide receiver, which gets me a lot of excitement. I think that the Jets got to utilize all their weapons, get him in the slot, get him moving around, and just really, really get the ball rolling. We got a great friend, Dan Mitchell, in the chat. What's up, gents? Everybody, give my man Dan Mitchell some condolences in the chat. He took a tough L. He is going to get through the ringer this week in the AFC's roundtable, Dan. I'm so sorry. As a friend, I feel bad for you. But as a Jets fan, I don't feel bad for you at all.
Oh, man. I was just going to say, Dan, we love you, bro, but I don't want to see any condolences messages to Dan in this chat because screw the freaking Buffalo Bills, baby. Dan, love you as a dude. Hate your football team more than anything.
Oh, Dan Mitchell. Woo, it's going to be a tough week for you, my friend. It's going to be a tough week, but it's okay. It's not going to just be a tough week for you. It's going to be a tough week for TD Finstock because this week is going to be wild, bro, across the AFC East. But, Dan, I enjoyed your live show a lot. I enjoyed you on top of the world when Josh Allen took the lead up by 5 points or up by 3 points. And then Mac Jones happened. Mac Jones happened, bro.
And you know what? Like, again, like the Patriots just find new ways to creatively torture my soul because I can't even be as hyped as I would like to be about this because we lost to them too. But you know what? It makes the Jets' loss to the Patriots feel significantly better.
Their only 2 wins, the Patriots, are against the Jets and the Bills, and then their third win is going to be the Dolphins this week, and then that'll make me feel a lot better about that loss.
Why does that garbage franchise just continue to torture the AFC East?
Oh, I love it.
Oh, man.
All right. LaSalle with the $2. Sorry, my people can't call in today. Sorry. No problem, LaSalle.
All good, LaSalle. We love you, buddy.
Hope all is well with you, brother.
Yeah, hope all is well, man.
We're going to get into some of the callers next. King Jamie, I will call in when I'm in Europe next week. Hey,
ooh, King Jamie.
Are you going to Germany for the Chiefs game against the Dolphins? That would be sick.
Nah, he was telling us he's going to a bunch of places. I forget where he was telling us, but you're going to a few different countries. I think so. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jamie. Either way, have a freaking awesome time, brother.
Yeah, 100%. Tony Oden, future DC, if Ulbrich gets head coach gig, I'd have to say assume that for sure. I mean, Tony Oden is another guy who almost left the Jets this past year for a defensive coordinator role in college. So
I think White Cotton's
another opportunity.
Is a contender as well.
So listen, this is a great problem to have if it does happen. But I don't think Ulbrich becomes a head coach after this year, unless the defense just becomes the 85 Bears for the rest of the season for all 4 quarters a game instead of just the second half.
Possible.
It is possible.
Anything is possible when you see what we did against the Philadelphia Eagles offense without DJ Reed and Sauce Gardner. We had no names out there guarding A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Not any average bum receivers. A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, man.
Wild.
And they went out there and did their thing. Balled the hell out. Man.
It's beautiful. Isn't it?
It's beautiful.
All right, let's get to some of the call-ins, guys. If you guys want to call in, you guys can click that link that's pinned in the chat right now.
Click that link, baby.
We're going to get into some callers.
Starting things off with a legend.
A legend who's been waiting patiently. We got Charles.
Yeah.
Look at this guy.
Sorry about my hair. How you guys doing?
We're doing great,
We're
man.
doing
How are
wonderful,
you doing?
man. How are you?
Good. I was able to catch up on the games yesterday. I was playing a lot of Batman Arkham Knight on my PlayStation 4, so.
Nice,
No way.
dude. That's sick. That's
yeah,
dope.
I'm about 30-something challenges away from confronting the Riddler. Anyway.
There we go.
I gotta say, the Bills losing to the Patriots has to be one of the worst losses the Bills have suffered in recent years. That's a terrible loss. I'm glad the Eagles won. Happy for my boy Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown, such an incredible receiver. I personally think he's a better receiver than Tyreek Hill. Don't get me wrong, Tyreek Hill's a great receiver, but he usually relies on his speed. A.J. Brown's got the complete package: size, strength, speed, athleticism. He's got it all. He's a beast.
He is. A.J. Brown is a beast.
You're absolutely right,
Tyreek Hill is on a historic pace this season, but
Oh,
A.J. Brown
absolutely.
is like a dog.
They're very different players. But yeah, I mean, A.J. Brown is freaking effective as hell out there, man.
I'm happy the Giants beat the Commanders, but that game was ugly as hell. I mean, they should have scored a lot more points.
We agree. Yeah, I think Richie and I both felt this way, Charles. We did not want to see the Giants at 1-6. We're very happy that the Giants got a little win this week to boost their confidence, have them feeling good, so that could all be destroyed at MetLife, at JetLife Stadium next week. Even though it's a home game for the Giants.
I think it's going to be a good game, to be honest. I think it's going to be a much competitive game between the Jets and the Giants. But we'll see what the hell happens.
Nah, the Giants are getting smoked. Nah, you might be right. Who knows, dude? I'm just talking crazy today because the Jets won the bye week. But yeah, Charles, we
Did you see
appreciate
Miko
you,
Hardman's
buddy.
punt return? That was a thing of beauty.
Of course I did, and it made me mad. You know what else? What else is new?
Well, it is what it is. I mean, Joe Douglas hasn't done a perfect job, but he's done a good enough job in putting the Jets on the right path for success, in my opinion.
Couldn't agree more, man.
You said that, Richie. You said Xavier Gibson may get more involved with the offense as a receiver. That is great. I really like that young man. He's humble. He's got really good speed. He's got nice hands. I wanted to see Jason Brownlee involved more with the offense too, but what the hell knows?
You know, I agree. And Charles, we appreciate the call, my man. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Charles, a legend, man. We always appreciate Charles. Thank you, buddy. Great
legend
call.
Indeed. Consistently calling in every single Monday.
30
baby.
challenges away from confronting the Riddler on Arkham City.
Let's go. That's big time. We got King Lowski in the house. Let's go, King. Boom, boom. But yeah, Jason Brownlee is a name to keep in mind if the Jets want to add more of their depth to the roster with the departure of Hardman. Look out for the Jets maybe adding a receiver at the deadline. Who knows? But at the end of the day, man, I think that Xavier Gibson getting more involved would be smart if I'm the Jets. And we also have Irvin Charles, who is definitely going to be active every week as a special teams gunner, who's like, dare I say, better than Justin Hardy? I mean, he's had 2 games, Jack, in his career in the NFL, and both games as a gunner. And listen, I like punt. I like special teams. I appreciate it for what it is. He's looked like elite, like actually freaking ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I know I'm hyping up a gunner here, but I don't know. It's kind of cool that not only are we down our top corners and they're stepping up, but we're down our top 2 gunners in Hardy and Eccles, and we have guys like Irvin Charles off the practice squad ready to go, dominant.
Listen, man, you don't always need special teams to win games, but you can't have special teams work against you. And we have not seen that. Like we did see at some parts of last year. I don't know what the hell happened to Braxton Berrios last year, and he forgot how to field the freaking punt. But last year, the special teams was kind of rocky, man. And this year, it's been rock solid. So while you don't need special teams to win, it can certainly help you lose, and it has not helped us lose. So I think, you know, we're on a good track here, man. Shout out to Irvin Charles.
Chino, great to see Jack back, baby.
Every Monday and Thursday, baby.
Oh, yeah, guys. If you didn't notice, we came out with a first pre-recorded episode of the podcast this past Thursday, so expect that more. We have 2 episodes a week on the pod every Monday at the usual time. This week, it's not going to go 3 hours just because it's the bye week. And Thursday, we're going to do our pre-recorded preview of the Jets-Giants game, so stay tuned for that. It'll probably premiere on the channel like around 5 p.m. Eastern time on Thursday night.
Yes, sir.
So we appreciate the consistent support of the Jets Media Podcast. We're really trying to build this thing out. We appreciate you guys. So let's get into the next caller. We got Bess.
Looks like right on time.
What's up, Bess?
What up, man?
I talked to Richie, man, it was about close more beginning of the summer.
Yeah, I remember you, man.
Yeah, man. I don't know, man. This the Dolphins losing was great. Great.
Beautiful.
I can't wait till the AFC roundtable, man. TD, man. Oh my God, bro. All that smack talking for no reason, man. Hating on the Jets. He's only scared of the Jets. That's why he's hating on them.
He is, and if you watched the show last night, he wouldn't stop
Oh,
talking
I watched
about the Jets.
it. I watched it, man. I watched all his
talking about the
reactions and everything. I'm waiting for Tyson to blow him up right now.
Oh, dude, it's going to be crazy tonight.
Bess, how you
right
feeling
now,
about the
I'm
Jets
liking-
moving forward?
I'm liking the offense. I see Zach Wilson is progressing.
Yep.
He could do a lot more, but he's doing better than he was last year, so that's all I can ask for right now.
Indeed.
Listen, man, you're absolutely right. It hasn't been pretty, but all we can ask for as fans at the end of the day is to see progress in the right direction, and that's what we're getting right now. It's not incremental progress. We'd like to see it at a little higher rate of speed, I guess you could say, the improvement,
Yeah.
but improvement is improvement no matter how you slice
Well,
it.
they're improving. They're making it to the red zone. They just ain't getting in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
they weren't doing
That's
that.
the next step.
So they're doing a lot right now. So hopefully, just like Salah said, little by little, it's gonna get there. It's gonna get there. So I'm hoping this
It's
week
close.
is more progression, and then next week we're there.
Absolutely, man.
100%. Bess, I appreciate you tuning in, man.
Go ahead. You guys go to the next caller, man. I'll call back next Monday.
Hey, appreciate
We
you, bro.
appreciate you,
Enjoy
brother.
the rest of your day.
Yep.
Hope to see you again soon, man.
Great caller from Best, man.
Great call, man. And he's right. He's right. You know, progress is progress. It's you know, it's not coming as fast as we'd like to see it, maybe with the quarterback in year 3, but progress is progress here, boys and girls. Progress is progress. And with that being said,
Also, I mean, we also have to. I know we drafted him to be the franchise guy, but we're 3-3 with our quarterback number 2.
yeah,
He's our backup
yeah,
this season.
he was the second overall pick.
He was a second overall pick, and now he's our backup. And hopefully he's the guy for the future, but he needs to show a lot more
God.
before I can say that he's the future of the Jets. But let's see more improvement, Zach. Come on now. All right, let's get into the next couple callers. We got 2 Jets media podcast legends on the next. Let's get into
On
it.
deck
On
with
deck.
the king himself,
Gang Lowski.
Lowski.
Richie, my brother. Jack, my brother.
Let's go.
Happy
Let's go.
Victory Monday it is, baby.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
What a night we had last night. Huh? The fraudulent Bills. Down. The fraudulent Dolphins. The tuna fish trash. Down. Come on, baby. You already know what it is. Now let me talk to my Jet fans out there. Hey, baby, now ain't the time to be coming out flat, okay, after the bye. This is the time where we show dominance within the division, okay? We got some cupcakes coming up. We got to treat them like cupcakes, all right? This ain't the time to be laying flat coming off the bye. All right, let's get the ball to the beast. Let's play sound defense, and let's make sure we win these games we supposed to win. All right, but let me say this. Oh, how the round table will be so glorious on Wednesday, baby. You can tell TD he better buckle up. Hey, tell Tyson he better buckle up too. I know he's sitting down there in the basement smiling, but I got something for you too, my guy. Because I know you ain't really happy. I know he ain't really happy, Richie.
I can't wait for tonight, King Lowski, and of course Wednesday night when you pull up in the callers, dude. It's gonna be legendary.
Oh, Richie, we're gonna get to some business. We're gonna get to some serious business. Okay, because that boy Dan Mitchell showing this 1970 chest hair again. I got some words for him. Okay, Dan Mitchell should be a damn ashamed of himself. But I'm gonna save it for Wednesday, baby. Hey, happy Victory Jets Monday.
Let's go, King Lowski.
We got
Lowski,
the
we
Giants
appreciate you
coming
as
up,
always, bro.
and we're gonna take care of business, baby. Jets,
Jets. Let's go, Lowski.
What a freaking dog, dude.
Man.
Oh, he gets me hyped up, man. The roundtable is going to be legendary. If you guys don't know, King Lowski is a regular caller on the AFC's roundtable on Wednesday nights, and he lets them know he does not shy away from the spotlight, and I love him for that.
It's a tough follow, man, but we got another legend on deck, and that is NYJ Madden, a.k.a. our boy, Josh.
Let's go, Josh.
What up, bro?
Richie, what's up, Jack, man?
How you doing, baby?
I'm doing great, man. How you guys doing, man?
Feeling it.
Phenomenal, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I ain't got that much this week because it's our bye week, but I'm surely glad that the Bills lost. That's crazy that they lost to the Patriots.
Oh, man.
And I'm glad that the Dolphins lost. Yes, sir. Put us back up there, man. So yeah, man. So man, this time around last year, man, it's kind of feels like the same as last year, man. So I know all of us Jets fans is all of our confidence and praises is all up here with it, man. But we gotta just remain humble for the rest of this season, man, because you don't know how it's gonna play out. The same thing happened last season. We was 4-2. I'm not sure when was the bye last year, but I remember we was 4-2. I remember that live we went on, Richie, when we beat the Browns. So in the Packers. So man, it's not about how we start. It's all about how we finish, man. So
Amen.
I just hope that we can just stay healthy. Zach Wilson can remain being who he is for the past like 2-3 weeks, man, and just man, we just gotta remain humble, man. And I am gonna be tuning into the AFC roundtable tonight because every time I do my highlights, I listen to y'all going at it, man. It be super funny, man. It's super funny. So, but that's all I got for you guys, man. It's Giants week, man. Let's beat the goddamn Giants. And man, go Jets. Jet up. Let's go.
Jet up is right, baby. Josh, thank you always for a great call. Regular caller here on the podcast. Go check him out on Instagram. He does cool things with the Jets and Madden related content, all that. And yeah, the vibes are high this morning, my friend. The vibes are high this morning because so many things that made Jet fans happy happened yesterday. The Bills lost. The Miami Dolphins lost. The Bills lost in embarrassing fashion. I mean, come on. The team's healing up. The bye week came at a perfect time. We were banged up. Yeah. It's Giants week. It's like the freaking Olympics of New York football. Happens every 4 years. Come on, baby. Yeah, let's go.
Let's go indeed. And I like how Josh reminded us to stay humble because we still got a long season left.
And let's not forget what happened after the bye week last year. So staying humble is the key.
I know. A big win before the bye last week against the Bills, and then the injuries caught up to this Jets team, and we started to fall things apart. Not to say it's going to happen again, but definitely something to keep in mind, Jets fans, that we got to, as much of exciting I am, as much as there's excitement around this fan base, try to remind ourselves a lot of football's left to be played, and we got to take advantage of these opportunities, which I happen to be confident of them doing. So let's get into the next caller, another regular.
Another James, legend.
You're live, bro. What's good?
We're just filling it up with legends today. James, give it to me, bro.
What's good? You know me. I'm usually pretty animated, but it's the bye week, so I'm going to take it easy this week. The last caller, I don't know dude's name, but I forget his name. What's his name? Josh?
Josh.
Great point. I think that's key. Listen, I love where we're headed. I think we're headed in the right place, but let's be a little humble. Let's whip that fucking baby blue ass this coming week. Let's beat the what out of him. First of all, my brother-in-law is a diehard Giants fan. Me and him this guy is crazy. He just says stupid shit, so I can't wait to smack them up. But I think we got to be a little chill. Let's stay on the course. Let's stay on the course. I think we're headed in the right fucking place. I'm really excited about where we're headed. This defense is getting better. The offense, we need to take a step up. And if we get to no turnovers, manage the game like he's been doing, make the smart plays, bro, we can beat anybody. There's nobody we can't beat. But with that being said, we have to do it. So I'm not going to be too cocky right now. I'm going to say we're on the way. We're on the way. We still got work to do, but I'm excited about where we're going. I'm fucking juiced up, actually. And I'm going to the game. Are you guys going or no?
Nah, unfortunately not.
Yeah, I have to go. I have to do that.
So, bro, represent the Jets fans because it's going to be majority Giants fans since it's a Giants home game.
Fuck them.
James,
who says it's going to
promise though?
What's that?
You got to promise me that you're going to walk around the parking lot like you did.
Say, meet me there. Don't beat me there. Meet me there. Don't beat me there.
Meet me there.
Hell yeah. You know how the fuck I get. Yeah, man.
Baby.
So yeah, we'll be there. We'll be loud. I'm going to crew of like 5. So it'll be good. We'll get it going. But I had to call in. It's Monday. Love you boys. I'll talk to you next week. Peace.
Likewise, brother.
James,
always a pleasure,
brother.
James. God, I love James. I just pictured James stuck in traffic on some NYC highway. I'm picturing the Cross Island right now. Cross Island, sports radio on or listening to us. Just either furious or elated. There's no in between. I love it. I love James. We love you, man.
Shout out to you, James. We appreciate you as always. Guys, if you're enjoying the show, it would mean a lot if you can simply smash that like button. Really, really appreciate if we get to at least 100 likes before the end of the show.
That would be
We're
fantastic.
at 96, so let's get that up to 100.
4 more likes.
150 likes before the stream wraps up, but let's get to 100 right now. As we get into our next caller, who I've not heard from in a minute, but it's my man Johnny.
Johnny,
how's it going, man?
Gentlemen, you guys are great. I love you guys.
Thank you, man.
Like to drop in all the time. And I've been tempted to call, but I want to make one point, just one small point. When you evaluate Zach's effectiveness in the red zone, you also have to take into consideration that the receivers have not done a good job for Zach in the red zone. I think we can call up pretty easily 2 or 3 quick instances where receivers have not, gotten the balls that had been, would be available. So let's not lay the blame all on Zach for those misses, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the point. If we're really evaluating everything on the team across the board for Zach, they've not done a really great job. So that's the point. And thank you for your continued excellence. And I will continue to check in with you guys all the time.
Hey,
Be
Johnny,
well.
we appreciate you, man. You take care of yourself as well. Thank you so much for calling in, man.
Thank you, Johnny. We appreciate
Love
you.
you guys.
Love you too, Johnny.
buddy. And yeah, I agree. Listen, I think when it comes to the red zone struggles, I'm putting the brunt of the blame. I gotta put it on Nathaniel Hackett's doorstep. I think like I mentioned it a few minutes ago, the inconsistencies from one game to another. I mean, Zach Wilson throwing the ball against the Chiefs on the goal line and scoring touchdowns. Where was that against the Denver Broncos or against the Philadelphia Eagles? So I think if you get more consistent play calling from game to game in the quote gold zone, even though I freaking hate that.
Would have been cool if we actually made
that's what I'm saying. It would have been cool if we're this dominant offense, but now that we can't, our struggles are in the red zone, and it's like, oh, the gold zone. I hate it. I'm over it. I'm done with the gold zone. It's the red zone. Officially back to the red zone for me, at least at this moment right here in time. We stink in the red zone, and that's a huge problem. And I think I put that at the offensive coordinator's doorstep.
Yeah, I agree. And the wide receivers, the offensive linemen, it's a collective effort in the offense in the red zone, not just the quarterback. So I do agree with Johnny's point there. We're going to blame Zach for this. So we also have to blame the receivers for that and the offensive line for that. And then the offensive coordinator. It's a collective effort here, folks, which is why it's so beautiful to watch this defense, because there's no blame to go around, because everyone's clicking on the same cylinder of them being in the same system for 3 straight years.
That was a great point, Johnny. We appreciate the call and the support, man. Thank you so much.
As always. All right, the next caller is Poppy. What's up, Poppy?
What up, man?
What's up?
How you doing?
Oh man, my fantasy team's getting destroyed. I had Lamar sit on the bench for Sam Howell because I thought the Giants were going to lose.
You benched Lamar over Sam Howell?
Yeah, because I thought the Giants were trash, but the Commanders are trash.
But that's Lamar Jackson. That's
Happy. Who okayed that? You got to text a couple people.
My brother was like, "What are you doing?"
37
man, 37 points.
Yeah, man. You should never bench Lamar Jackson ever, unless he's on a bye or injured.
Anyways,
Pappy, what are you feeling about the Jets going forward, bud?
There's 2 big problems. Look at how many times Zach Wilson has been pressured. Last year, we had 40 sacks on us, on our quarterbacks. 40 sacks from our offensive line to just give up. That's unacceptable. And it looks like we're doing it again, kind of. We're just letting them get to the quarterback. And then dropping big passes. Like, I blame Randall Cobb for that big pass, Hail Mary pass in week, I think it was 3 against the Patriots. Yeah. I mean, you can't have these drops, just like he was saying. Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, it's a tough ask having him catch that Hail Mary.
Thank you for the call, Poppy. We appreciate it.
Yeah, there's a little audio issue going on there, Poppy. Sorry we had to cut you off. But, yeah, I mean, listen, it's a tough ask catching that Hail Mary. I think he had a more egregious drop in the open field a week or a couple weeks after that. made up for it by catching a 2-point conversion.
And the issue with the offensive line for me is also, and there's no excuse to injuries, but it's just frustrating how we finally had a good offensive line working in our favor, protecting the quarterback against the Chiefs with AVT and Tippmann, and now AVT and Tippmann are injured. It's just like, no excuse. You got to be able to have the next man up mentality, but at the end of the day, it's like, gosh, darn it. Why can't we just, if there's one position we can stay healthy at, why can't it be there?
I know.
It's so frustrating. But again, no excuse. Wes Schweitzer, your next man up. Max Mitchell, next man up. Mekhi Becton continues. Wes Schweitzer, baby. Hopefully Joe Tippmann's injury is not too severe. We should probably get an update on him this week.
Salah's talking to the media as we speak right now, so hopefully there's some injury questions being answered.
There probably is. All right. There's probably going to be some Salah quotes that are dropping on the timeline. I'm excited to listen to his press conference for myself after this is over. But let's get into the next caller, which is Jets Unleashed.
Jets Unleashed. What up, man?
What up, man? How you guys doing on this wonderful Monday?
Doing good, man. How about yourself?
Man, dude, watching yesterday, man, seeing the Bills just losing to the Patriots, seeing the Patriots winning, they're tanking, seeing them not getting a quarterback now. And not only that, seeing the Dolphins lose on Sunday Night Football and just getting destroyed, man. Perfect. We won this bye week, man. I can't believe how the Bills and Dolphins just lose. But, man, we got to win, man. Yesterday, you couldn't ask it for any better than that.
You're absolutely right, man. I mean, talk about an ideal bye week to be a New York Jets fan. I mean, it came at a good time, first of all, because we're dealing with some injuries right now. We're a little banged up, so it gives our guys an opportunity to heal up. The schedule way lightens up after the bye week. And then in terms of like what we needed to happen yesterday within the AFC East, it happened. The Dolphins took an L to the team that we just freaking beat. How about that?
They took an L to both teams we lost.
The Bills took an L to the Patriots, which makes me feel better about taking an L to the Patriots. Makes me feel a lot better about taking an L to the Patriots, as a matter of fact. So yeah, Jets Unleashed, bro. What a freaking bye week it was to be a Jets fan.
Let's go. And Jets Unleashed, we'll see you Wednesday night on the roundtable, baby, when you bring it to them. Let's go. See you then, buddy.
Yeah, man. And tonight's going to be fun, too, man. Tonight's going to be way fun.
Hell
it's
yeah,
going to be
bro.
fun, man. 6 p.m. Eastern time.
Always appreciate your support, buddy. Thank you, Jets Unleashed.
Thank you, indeed. Poppy with the $5. Not trying to be negative, trying to be real. 6 more wins to the playoffs. Oh, you're being 100% real. That's not being negative, man. The offensive line issues is
real. I keep it real and get told that I'm negative all the time. So you just, it is what it is, man. There was some bum in the chat earlier today that I didn't even give a second thought to at that moment in time. And it is what it is, man. We're allowed to feel any way we want to feel about this team because God knows they have tortured us for our entire lives. And we seem to be hopefully coming out of that now, coming into brighter days ahead. But don't ever let anybody tell you that, oh, you're too negative, you're too this, you're too that. No. You're entitled to feel exactly how you want to feel about this team that has made us feel every emotion possible for a human being.
What are people saying in the chat about Quinnen Williams? Please enlighten me, because I don't see anything about Quinnen. But there are some injury updates that I wanted to highlight. Robert Salah speaking on Joe Tippmann says his quad. He's saying that he's a pretty quick healer. He looked good this morning, but we'll wait till Wednesday before updating. So, in my opinion, listen, the one thing that Robert Salah I've noticed is when he talks about injuries, even if he's optimistic, doesn't really mean anything. He's an optimist, and when it comes to injuries, he's going to be a wishful thinker and hope for them to play, even if they don't. So, good to see that it's not like a severe, torn quad, out for the year. So that's the positive news. So Tippmann seems to be week by week. He may be out this game, maybe out the next game. We'll probably get him back, I would say, and it's a week-by-week basis. And Salah also says that Xavier Gipson is the major reason why Hardman became expendable, thus leading to the trade. That's not breaking news. That's exactly what I was saying and the reason for it. So, again, Jets going long-term with Hardman. instead of, long-term with Gibson for that reason. Now, I don't know what the chat's referring to when it comes to Quinnen Williams being out, but there's no tweets regarding that. But we'll see. Robert Saleh also won't say what the plan is with Dwayne Brown when he comes back or whether he'd move positions, but emphasizing the Jets will play their best 5. So that's another thing that the Jets got to keep in mind is Dwayne Brown potentially coming off the IR with a lot of injuries. What did the Jets do? Mekhi Becton's playing his best football at left tackle. Dwayne Brown is a left tackle, so you don't want to move Mekhi back to right tackle. A lot of interesting stuff. And Dwayne was looking like a dusty piece of dust. I mean, I don't really want to see him out there, to be honest. Covered in sauce with the $5. Longer than 3 and out drives. A. Playing this discipline penalty-free. D. Love the show, guys. JETS, I told TD. L. Jitsu, and 2 would lay down again. Love it, covered in sauce. Lay it down to TD Finn's talk. He's been talking all that nonsense. He deserves it. Boo.
We forgot to give Dwayne Brown a letter grade.
Let's go. We appreciate Dwayne Brown's letter grade. Come on now. There's no letter for that.
It's a B for
injured Aaron Rodgers. Bum.
There you go.
He's a B for bum. Thanks for being a selfless warrior last year. We got Ali in the chat. Let's go. Ali says, people made fun of me calling the Bills being overrated before the season started and called me delusional. They're not as good as people think they are. 100%, Ali. I was right there with you. I said on the roundtable that the Buffalo Bills are not winning the division this year. And I said that with confidence. I said that looking at the Dolphins and looking at the Jets. And I'm going to stand on that. I think the Bills' window is closing before our very eyes. So never been a believer in the Bills this season either. But I still don't know where this Quinnen Williams nonsense is coming from in the chat. And you guys are getting me nervous for no reason. So I blame you all in the chat. Still don't see anything regarding Quinnen Williams. So,
man. That got to me, man.
Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed are still in concussion protocol. So they got to clear the protocol this week before they can be cleared to play versus the Giants.
B for bum.
B for bum. I don't want to see that man on the field. Like, I really don't. I love it. Oh, I love it. So we shall see what the injury news is, guys. Again, Sauce Gardner, DJ Reed still in the protocols. But, hey, we can win without him. Let him rest. We got Bryce Hall.
Not only can we win without them, we can win against undefeated teams without them.
Yeah, man. I'm going to watch the Salah press conference right after this pod is over so I can see exactly what he's talking about. But, yeah, it seems like overall the injury news is trending in the right direction.
You know, that kind of reminds me. Speaking about Robert Salah, maybe this will be a good thing to wrap up the podcast on because, guys, we are going to go an hour shorter today than we usually do, being that it's the bye week and there's not an entire game to talk about. So we're going to wrap things up here in a few minutes, but
we
never gave Robert Salah his letter grade, man.
I'll let you start.
Man, this is a loaded one, guys. This is a loaded one. Wow. Man, I mean, there's so many factors that go into this.
Everybody give your letter grade for Salah in the chat right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Help me out here.
We got a super chat while we think. Poppy with another one. I'm just saying Commanders looked good. They played with the Eagles, still lost to the Giants. Yeah, the Jets got to verse the Commanders and the Giants. And you bring up a great point. I think that we can't take the Giants lightly, even though that game was an ugly, ugly win on their end.
I'm going to give Robert Salah... Listen, we're 3-3. I'm going to give Robert Salah a C.
C
plus?
What?
A C plus?
A C plus?
He's the head coach. He's not the defensive coordinator. The offense sucks.
No.
He's the head coach. He's not the defensive coordinator. The offense sucks.
Oh my gosh.
He's in charge of the offense. Exactly. We're 3-3. So C is right in the middle of A and F.
No, that's a B.
Oh, come on.
Dude, a C if we're 2-4, 1-5.
Oh, come on. We're 3-3. We should have beaten the Patriots. We should have beaten the Chiefs.
But
Come
we
on.
beat the Eagles.
We did. And we
Robert
beat the Buffalo
Salah's dealing with
Bills.
a backup quarterback, and he got us to 3-3, the same record. He's keeping everybody accountable.
He is.
He's backing his quarterback when no one else is.
He is.
That's blasphemy,
And for
Jack.
that, he gets a C.
That's blasphemous.
I'll give him a C+.
Oh, my gosh.
How is that so shocking to you, bro? We're 3-3.
Dude, Robert Saleh deserves his flowers. I think the job that Saleh has done
Jeff
organizing
Ulbrich deserves
this entire
his flowers.
team. Jeff Ulbrich deserves his flowers. Whose scheme is this?
Like, all right, come on, man.
Bro, he's the overseeing of the whole operation. If you're going to praise
and
Ulbrich,
half of the operation sucks, so he gets a C.
half the operation is wins.
And half the operation
Bro,
is
you're
losses.
telling me, Jack, you're telling me, after looking at the opponents that we went up against, Robert Saleh getting through that 6-game gauntlet with a backup quarterback in Zach Wilson getting the 3-3, you're giving him a C+ grade?
I'm giving him a C+. I think that's totally fair, dude.
I really don't. I'm sorry.
I think that's totally fair.
I don't
Listen,
think.
man, the defense.
What does he need to do to get it a B?
Is to preside over an offense that can score touchdowns. That's what he needs to do.
But
because,
the head coach's job is winning
the
football
head coach.
games. The head coach's job is to win football games.
And he's won 3 of them, and he's lost 3 of them. So why is a C+ so
because
bad?
look at the schedule.
Okay, that's great. We lost to the Patriots.
Okay, we beat the Eagles.
Fantastic.
I mean, bro, you're telling me you're going into the season, Aaron Rodgers is injured, the 4 snaps into the game, take all the external factors away, Robert Saleh gets the Jets to 3-3 at the bye, and you're giving him a C+?
I'm giving him a C+, dude. I don't understand how that's crazy.
I don't know. I've been so impressed with Robert Saleh,
He's not the
bro.
defensive coordinator.
He's the head of the entire operation.
He's the head coach, and half the team
Bro,
can't
Salah
do their
has
job.
been doing such a great job, like, in so many accounts, man. Defending Zach when nobody else was, making sure the defense is held accountable. And, like, how about Robert Saleh keeping this locker room together? I feel like that's such a lost art. The offense and the defense and the special teams, there's so many narratives about the locker room imploding. And then Salah is the guy that keeps it all together. He's the CEO. He's the head coach. It's his job to make sure everybody's binded within each other. The culture and the standard that he developed within this Jets organization deserves to be talked about. And I think that if we're going to praise Jeff Ulbrich, Salah deserves twice the praise if you want to talk about the defense. And, of course, the offense is not looking great. But the reality is 3 out of the 2 phases of the football are playing at a high level, and he's the operation over all 3 of those. And he deserves, and obviously we need to see more from Salah before we sing the praise. But, like, I don't know. B- I can get around. But a C next to Robert Saleh's name, whether it's a plus or a standard, with the historic defense that we're seeing, giving up 1 touchdown in the second half. I mean, them being in every single game on the backs of our defense. I'm sorry, Jack. I love you, but I had to press you on that because that's so disrespectful to our own head coach. That's such disrespect.
That's fine, man. We can't agree on everything. I like when we disagree because it's rare that we disagree on something related to the Jets. But I think, like you said, he is the head coach, so he's responsible for the whole operation. But we are 3-3. Yes, we just beat the Eagles. I understand that. We beat the Eagles down players. We are 3-3. We should have. We should. Yes,
don't forget all the injuries. Robert Saleh has to be able to keep
that
these guys
every
ready to
team
go.
in the NFL deals with, though.
So let me ask you this:
every team in the NFL deals with. My Ulbrich grade was an A+.
What was your Hackett grade?
I think C-.
I think it was a C
or a
C flat.
Okay.
So wouldn't that average out to a B for Salah?
Maybe, I guess
he's the
so.
operation.
I don't know.
And then throw in what's Brant Boyer's grade? We didn't talk about that. I give him an A.
Sure, I'll give Brant Boyer an A.
So we're giving Ulbrich an A+, Hoyer an A, Hackett a C, and then Salah a C+.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just doesn't make
Salah's
sense.
better than Hackett. Slightly better than Hackett.
Average it out, if we're going like by phases of the ball,
okay,
and
so
then
if you average it out, I guess
grades.
I guess you got me. I guess it's a B. I'm sticking with C+. It's a C+ because we're 3-3.
Yeah,
I hate
we
to
are.
sound like Sal on WFAN, but we're
look,
3-3, man. I know the teams that
wanted to
we've
be
beaten,
3-3.
but look at the teams that we should have beaten as well. I don't care if it's the Kansas City Chiefs. They were begging us to win that game. We dropped one to the sorry-ass Patriots and got decimated by the Dallas Cowboys, who now look like, an average football team, maybe slightly better than average. So for the amazing games that we did win, we lost games that we should not have lost. So you can make the argument that we should be 5-1, and then I would give Salah a freaking A+++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++ 3-3 for reasons that could have been prevented. I think that's fair, man. I really do think that's fair.
Yeah. I mean, it could be fair. But, yeah, I mean, We'll see. Salah has to prove a lot, but me personally, I've been so impressed with the job that he has done, just beyond the X's and O's, beyond the everything, like his leadership and him not letting this team crumble in front of his eyes in terms of the locker room. Like, that's something that needs to be talked about, and him backing his players. And, like, I don't know, man. I've seen a coach that I've been very impressed with. I gave him his flowers big time. I mean, I made a whole live show about giving Robert Salah his flowers and the coaching staff their flowers last week for that reason. And again, Salah has to prove that he can go out there and lead this team to the playoffs before he gets his credit. And we'll see. We shall see. So
man, that was a fun one, man. I like that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We're gonna get deeper into all of that throughout the rest of the season. And those are our letter grades. I mean, I can't really recap everything off the top of my head, but we gave out grades to a lot of the Jets players, a lot of the Jets coaches, and we shall see if they all trend upwards, because that's what we want. That's where we want them to go, right? That's where we want them to go. And I also will finish off with this: if the Jets do what we want them to do and take care of business against the teams we expect them to take care of business, I'm going to go out on a limb that Robert Salah is a Coach of the Year candidate.
Whew.
With a backup quarterback, without Aaron Rodgers, and bringing this team to the playoffs, if the Jets make the postseason this year, Robert Salah will be a Coach of the Year candidate with all the injuries suffered without Aaron Rodgers. And I'll say that. And that's if we make the playoffs, of course.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree with that.
So that's really going to wrap things up, guys. Sorry we couldn't get to all of the callers, but we are going to open this up for callers more often than not, of course, in the next coming weeks of the podcast. We appreciate you guys all tuning in. This was a phenomenal show, as always. We want to cut it an hour short this week just because usually we continue to, break down an entire Jets game, but there was no game to talk about. There was not even a game to talk about. Actually, we do have one guy behind stage. I just realized we got to get him in before we end off the show. My man's been waiting behind stage. Let's get him in
Let's get him in here
before we get out of here. We got Jets for life in the chat. Sorry,
Jets
man.
for life.
We got to get you in before we finish things
Hey, Richie. Hey, Jack. How you doing?
What's going on, man?
Good. Yo, last night was so good. I was watching TD's reaction. Yo, oh my God. His reactions are so priceless. Had me cracking up.
It was like a nice home-cooked meal from mom, man. It's just comforting watching that.
Yes, it was. And real quick, this game coming up with the Giants, we gonna win, but it's gonna be sentimental because it's gonna be the first regular season game I'm gonna see without my big bro. He passed away 3 years.
Oh man,
So
sorry about that, buddy.
And he was a Giants fan, so every time we played, he'll get on me like, "Oh, Jets ain't shit. They're the little brother." I'm like, all right. We beat them last time, Sam Darnold. And big bro, I'm sorry, but your big blues they're gonna lose. They're gonna lose to gangrene. It is what it is.
It is. You're exactly right, man. It's gonna be what it's gonna be, and unfortunately for Big Blue, I think Big Green is coming into JetLife Stadium and taking it over.
MetLife Stadium right there.
Let's go.
All right, Jack.
Let's go over that stadium.
All right, Jack. Richie, I know you're gonna wrap
Thank
things
you for
up.
tuning in, man.
We appreciate you, bro.
Great show.
Had to fit you in to finish it off, man. We appreciate you. Jets for life tuning in there.
Love that.
Thank you so much, Jets for life, for tuning in to the Jets Media Podcast. Guys, again, that's going to wrap things up. If you guys want to check us out on Apple and Spotify, those links are, again, down below in the description of this podcast. Would really, really appreciate it if you can download the pod, give us a rating, and give us a review over there as well. Give us an honest, objective perspective of what you feel like should improve or what you like about the podcast, guys. So make sure you guys check us out. AFC's Roundtable tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm going to light it up. I'm going to light it up, baby. You already know what the vibes are. Jack, appreciate you as always.
Appreciate you, my friend. Robert Salah, C+.
Standing on it, baby, as you should. All right, folks, we'll catch you guys on Thursday. Jack and I will be giving you guys our pre-recorded pod. We didn't really talk about the Jets-Giants matchup too much because we wanted to save it for Thursday. So stay tuned for that. Peace and love as always. Let's go Jets, and we'll catch you guys in the next time.
Peace out, everybody. Enjoy your day. JTS.